KITN TV sports presentation, Minnesota North Stars hockey. Tonight, the Minnesota North Stars battle the Chicago Blackhawks in Norris Division Finals. Brought to you in part by Coors. The best of the Rockies is yours. Coors Light, so turn it loose tonight. Carex, don't worry, call your Carex man. Your 16 Twin Cities Northland Ford dealers. Republic Airlines, the airline that makes you feel like flying. Cooper Skates, the world plays hockey with Cooper. Cherokee Power Equipment, Brooklyn Park. And Norwest Bank, banking and a whole lot more.
It's game number 5 of the Norris Division Finals as the Minnesota North Stars take on the Chicago Blackhawks at the stadium in Chicago. Hello again, everybody. Along with Roger Buxton, I'm Frank Mazzocco in what may be the last game of the year for the North Stars, who face elimination tonight. They trail in the series 3-1, but it's actually a series that could easily be 3-1 in the opposite direction.
Could easily be. It should certainly be no worse than 2-2 after Thursday night at the Met Center, Frank. Anytime you get 54 shots and 6 goals, in most instances, you figure you're going to win the hockey game. But, of course, the North Stars didn't, as they lose in double overtime.
Well, they lost that one in a real shootout, that 7-6 game, in the longest game in the history of the Met Center, and one of only 2 double overtime games the North Stars have played in the franchise history. Unfortunately, they lost both of them. The last double overtime loss was back in the 1968 playoffs. But tonight's game is all important, as the North Stars absolutely must win tonight if they're going to go on, if have any chance to go on. There are a lot of people who think, however, if the North Stars are able to win tonight, they'll be back here for Game 7 on Thursday.
Many people think so. Certainly it's a pivotal game. If they win here, obviously they remain alive and get the series back to the Met Center, where they hopefully would have better luck than they had the other evening. I don't think we're going to see many changes. If the North Stars could play again the way they played Thursday night, I would think the probabilities of them losing again would be fairly remote. But the question is, can they duplicate that performance here at the stadium this evening?
Well, Glenn Sonmore has said the North Stars played exactly the way they wanted to play, and certainly I think they played well enough to win that hockey game. And as Roger said, playing the same way tonight should put them in pretty good standing to win this one here at the Chicago Stadium, although it might be a little tougher. However, as you have seen in our regular season coverage on Channel 29, here at the stadium, the Blackhawks have been known to fall apart a time or two.
Oh, it's happened very frequently here over the course of this season, particularly early on. And we should remember that during the regular season, the North Stars won 3 games in this building, as I recall. And also in the first game of this series, scored 8 goals. So the history has demonstrated that it can happen. The question is, will it?
Well, if you talk about goal scoring, are you going to be able to get the forwards to score some tonight?
Well, that's the key question. The North Stars, had their forwards converted some of the opportunities the other evening, probably would have had 12 goals instead of 6. That certainly is the key. The forwards have simply got to cash in on the opportunities that they get, something they certainly didn't do the other evening.
It'll be no surprise to see Murray Bannerman in the nets for the Chicago Blackhawks. He had an outstanding game Thursday night.
Oh, fabulous. He played brilliantly. Remindful of what Gilles Meloche did against the St. Louis Blues in the first round of the playoffs this year. And on those occasions when Bannerman wasn't brilliant, the North Stars hit him with their shots. So all in all, a very memorable evening for Murray Bannerman and the Blackhawks.
And perhaps no surprise, it'll be Gilles Meloche in the nets for the North Stars, who played well even though he was tabbed as the losing goaltender in that double overtime game. We'll be back with tonight's opening face-off right after this timeout.
Was a kid. I piled up lots of experience with hand cleaners, from soap to turpentine. The one I use is lava, because lava has the power of pumice. You can feel it, powering away dirt, powering your hands clean. I'm Roger Gustin. I built the lava machine. Mister, when I talk power, I know what I'm talking about.
Lava powers hands clean.
There's more to shopping than just looking for low prices. You look for quality, too. The most important ingredient in all of these products isn't listed on the package. It's water. And your family is going to love the cool, refreshing spring water of Glenwood Inglewood. Chemical-free, pollution-free. Include the natural spring fresh water of Glenwood Inglewood on your next shopping list. Glenwood Inglewood is available at supermarkets across the Midwest. It's your family's favorite since 1884.
Monsignor, there's a phone call for you. Will McDonough?
Will.
Says you played football together.
That we did. That we did.
Drift away, how the time disappears. Just the blink of an eye, and the days turn into years. Drift away, how the time drifts away.
Will.
Think of all the times you thought about calling old friends and haven't done it. No matter how far away they are, just dial 1 plus the number, and they're right there.
There's so much left to say.
Can you still catch a pass, Patrick? If you can still throw it, Will.
Don't drift away.
Well, the North Stars are out. You'll hear the roar beginning as the Blackhawks begin to filter up to the ice from their dressing room in the basement of the Chicago Stadium. And we're going to be ready to go here very, very shortly. Frank, by the same token, the North Stars probably felt they certainly should have won the other evening at the Met Center. If I'm one of the Blackhawks, I'd probably think that I was lucky. And very, very thrilled to be 3-1 in the series at this point.
It certainly could be said that that game could have gone either way, and I don't think that's an exaggeration, nor is it an overstatement because of the fact that it was just a one-goal game. But the North Stars had some outstanding chances, and we'll recall one particular play in which Kurt Giles fired a shot past Murray Bannerman, and Giles had the unfortunate luck to have the puck kiss both goalposts and come right back out. That was just one of many shots, and Ciccarelli had a close-in chance that hit a pipe late in the game, perhaps even in overtime.
Well, it's sort of ironic. In one sense, if you look at it, the Chicago Blackhawks, despite the fact that they lead 3-1 in this series, have in one sense a great deal of pressure on them, because should the North Stars win here tonight, they would then have to go back to the Met Center, and conceivably, should Minnesota win there, they got to come here for a 7th game in which everything goes up for grabs. So I know that the Blackhawks would really want very desperately to close it out here this evening.
We have talked a lot about home ice advantage and what it means playing before 17,000, 18,000 people here at Chicago. Captain Darryl Sutter of the Blackhawks said that sometimes playing before the home crowd can be a little intimidating and work in the opposite direction.
Well, there's one of the men the North Stars must stop. Dennis Savard, who was fairly obscure in the first couple of games of this series, but since then has really come on and played very well, as he almost always does against the North Stars. Stars giving Jilly Malash all the encouragement that they can. I'm sure Jilly appreciates it, but is probably thinking, don't just encourage me, score some goals. that would give me even more encouragement.
Well, the North Stars will begin the game with their highest scoring forward line as Dennis Maruk at center, leading goal scorer Tony McKegney on the left, and Willie Plett on the right. McKegney has 4 goals in this Chicago series. He has 5 overall in the playoffs and is tied with Dennis Maruk in the playoffs, 9 points apiece. I don't think we really need to tell you, but we will anyway. This crowd has already begun to roar. They have not yet announced the national anthem. Now they have, and now we're ready for it. From the Chicago Stadium, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
edge into it. As well you might imagine. Officials for tonight's game, the referee is the veteran Bob Myers, the linesman Gord Brossecker and Gerard Gauthier. Also a couple of veterans, so certainly no novice crew on this occasion, which figures to be another rock'em sock'em game, as much of this series has been. Tennis players, you look at Murray Bannerman, who goes against an average of 3.36 and a sparkling 6-1 record in the playoffs. His only loss coming here in the first game of the series.
Troy Murray's line begins for Chicago. The first 10 minutes of this game will be extremely important as Willie Plett slips it in behind the net. Checked by Doug Wilson. Plett playing it back for Craig Hartsburg, and he fanned on it. There will be no icing as Malash will leave it for Harold Snepps. We're just underway in period number 1. No score in game number 5. Baruch the drop to Plett. Now he hits the line but has to turn back as McKegney was forced in ahead of the play. Hartsburg shooting from center. It comes out of the corner. O'Callahan tied up McKegney, and Oldchuk clears the puck. Now Harold Snepps playing it back into the zone. A delayed offside as Doug Wilson got it out. Now finally picked up by Troy Murray, number 19 for Chicago. From red center line, he'll flip it in. Both teams will make changes. And the North Stars will bring on Keith Acton along with Steve Payne. I imagine Brian Bellows will join them shortly. Now Hartsburg plays it back out at center ice. Blackhawk defenseman Keith Brown shooting it right back in. Here's Hartsburg in front of his own net, playing it over to Payne. Bellows has joined this line as Acton kicks it ahead, goes to his backhand, then turns aside. Acton fires it over to Roberts. He ran into the check of Yaremchuk and went down. Then Gordy got up and played it to Payne in the corner. Payne shooting it back for Gordy Roberts. Roberts backhand knocked down in front by Lysiak, and he leads the Blackhawk right to center. Lysiak and Yaremchuk. Lysiak turned aside by Richter, centers it. Here's Yaremchuk cutting right in, and that rush was broken up by Gordy Roberts. Now Roberts ran into Lysiak, and Lysiak floored him with a couple of stiff checks up high, one with each arm. Now Daryl Sutter had it go off his stick. Sutter, number 27, scored the overtime goal to beat the North Stars Thursday night. Here's Payne to center, 3-on-3, shooting it in, and a stick save by Bannerman on the first shot of the game, albeit a long-range shot. Now Payne and Lysiak tied up as Acton centers it. Jerome Dupont takes it away, fires it to Sutter at center. He'll drive it in, then he's bumped by Richter. Roberts and Steve Larmer go after it. Roberts looking for Brian Bellows. Bellows pass right onto the stick of Gord Shervin. He hits the line with Bo Berglund. Shervin's shot caroms off Bob Murray. It's picked up by Al Secord. Secord hit hard by Plett, and that's the first solid body check thrown by the North Stars. Now finally Kurt Giles gets it to Plett at center, but he missed the puck. And finally Doug Wilson, chased now by Gord Shervin. Doug Wilson with a head of steam, heads to center ice, hits the red center line, lets a blast go! And he fired it wide, but it was offside. 2.5 minutes have elapsed here in period number 1. It's the North Stars nothing, the Blackhawks nothing.
Zone, Gord Shervin will take the draw against Billy Gardner as Glenn Sonmore gets his 4th line on the ice. He indicated he would do some of that tonight. Shervin and Bo Berglund, and the other winger will be either Willie Plett or Tony McKegney while they're out there.
Now it's backhanded in by Gardner. It deflects, and Malash has to sprawl to knock it away. Puck went off of Berglund, then finally deflected again by O'Callahan. He can't shoot it in. He does so anyway. It'll be offside against the Blackhawks.
Well, Shervin tried to pop that thing past O'Callahan. If he hadn't made a good play, Shervin would have been off to the races. North Stars will change as Neil Broughton comes out. Julie Malash doing a little housework there. There's that last one that Kurt Giles tried to deflect, and I think it would have gone wide anyway, but anytime it gets close in a game like this, it makes you nervous.
Neil Broughton's line is on, and as the North Stars suspected, the Blackhawks will counter with Savard's line. And right now, Craig Hartsburg has the puck. Here's Harold Snepps. Pass to center ice is deflected. Graham picks it up anyway. Graham's long shot went wide. Graham has 2 assists in this series. He's looking for his first goal. Now the lead to Al Secord. Headmans it to Savard. They hit the line, and the drop pass is picked off by Snepps, who clears it right out. Brown over to Larmer, and Larmer drives it into the corner. Bounces right in the slot to Dino Ciccarelli. Now to Dirk Graham. At the Chicago line, Graham on the right wing, although he normally plays left. Here's Hartsburg rolling it right in front for Ciccarelli. And a pad save by Bannerman. A huge save in close on Ciccarelli. Larmer to Savard, a goal!
By Dennis Savard, something that Joe Milash had trouble with the first game here at the stadium. And this one eludes him right at the blue line as he lets it go. Beat him to his stick side at a time of 3:32. So the Blackhawks get that all-important first goal.
If you see it once, you'll see it a dozen times a year. A close chance at one end, a spectacular save by a goaltender. Then seconds later, the other team comes back and scores, and that's what the Blackhawks have done to take a 1-0 lead. Here's Savard bringing it in. He's checked, left it for Fraser, and it's fired wide. Now O'Callahan, the puck was on end, and his shot hit Troy Murray, who keeps it alive. Olchuk is tied up, but he sends it all the way across. Willie Plett has it for the North Stars, tied up by Fraser, but got it to Gordy Roberts anyway. Now Roberts, the North Stars defenseman, flips it in onside to Marouk on his backhand. A pad save, and the rebound is loose, then cleared by O'Callahan. Back to center ice. Here's Olchuk to Lysiak, and it's offside at the Minnesota line. Early in period number 1, it's Chicago 1, the North Stars 0.
The Chicago goal again by Dennis Savard at 3:32. Assist to Al Secord and Steve Larmer. Acton and Lysiak on this face-off at center.
That line has now accounted for 7 of Chicago's 24 goals in this series. Their, of course, biggest offensive threat. Steve Payne backhanding it into the Chicago zone. It was deflected and grabbed by Lysiak. Lysiak's pass deflected and a little bit too far for Bob Murray. Now Giles. Long lead for Acton at center ice, broken up by Bob Murray. His pass broken up by Bellows, who comes up with the puck and then flipped it into the Chicago end. Yaremchuk over to Jerome Dupont. Dupont leads it to Sutter at center. He's got Yaremchuk flying in a little bit too far, however. Yaremchuk was offside.
15:09 to play in the first period. North Stars with a great chance. Just prior to Savard's goal, fine pass from Craig Hartsburg, and Dino Ciccarelli's got the corner. But as he has been doing in this period, very quickly, Murray Bannerman over to cover it.
Well, I tell you, there's been talk about dehydration and groin problems on the part of Murray Bannerman. Haven't seen it in 4+ games here.
That's right. He looks pretty healthy to me.
Gardner whacks at it. It goes into the Minnesota zone. And we're coming up on the 5-minute mark. Here's Hartsburg. Lead for Shervin a little bit too far. Brown has it again. Deflects in off of McKegney. Hartsburg goes back for it. Hartsburg and Richter right now paired up on defense. Here's Hartsburg leading it to Shervin. Shervin flipping it in, and with his speed, he'll go in after the puck himself. Bannerman playing it away. Shervin hit by Brown. Berglund left it for Richter. Richter then shoots it behind the net. Shervin and Brown go after it. Brown, number 4, trying to clear. He got it as far as Patterson, then he's bumped. And they jam up for it with Brown throwing a check. McKegney wants to get it free. Bob Myers lets him play until it comes loose. Ben Wilson had trouble with it in the slot. And Hartsburg finally picks it up back at center ice. Now Richter over to Hartsburg. Nearly handcuffed him. And Shervin at center. Gets it to Richter as the North Stars effect a change on the go. They bring Neil Broughton's line on. O'Callahan chased by Ciccarelli and checked by Dino. Broughton gets the loose puck. Ciccarelli's in front. Broughton shot stopped, and the rebound was batted away by Savard. Roberts kept it in on the line and then played it around, but it got past Ciccarelli, who was checked again, and Ben Wilson gets it to Savard at center. Savard carrying it in with Secord, fakes, shoots. A great glove save by Milash, and he holds on. Spectacular.
Now Secord standing right there alone in front of him. He had to make a big stop there. A rising shot. You can see Dennis Savard giving him all the moves here. Secord heads right for the net, exactly where he should. You can see he's there pretty much alone as Milash makes the glove save.
Dennis Savard with the only goal of the game thus far. Gives him 3 goals in the series. And I think more importantly, 9 points. Savard with 6 assists.
And again, remember, Frank, the first 2 games, it was hard to find him. He didn't do a great deal.
Here's Broughton with a shot and a nice save by Bannerman. He took a nice feed from Gordy Roberts, who was up on left wing. Now Larmer's pass to Savard. He pulls it in nicely, then flips it in. Blackhawks staying onside at the blue line. Ron Wilson played it around. Dirk Graham let it go. Bob Murray shot, deflect, hit the outside of the net. Roberts to Graham. He's hit hard by Secord. Lost the puck. Here's Troy Murray's shot, and that deflects. Now Larmer puts it right in, and Meloche makes a save there. Graham out-muscled again, but the loose puck comes to Broughton, and he was checked. And finally, Gordy Roberts rushes it ahead. In over the line to Cicerelli. He left it for Ron Wilson, centering it for Broughton. He spun around, and we'll have the first penalty coming up. That was not Broughton, but Dennis Marouk, who was put down. The North Stars will go to the power play, and we'll be back with the power play in a moment.
First penalty of the night goes to Dennis Savard for hooking. 7:09 the time as he brought down Dennis Marouk, and Savard didn't say a word. He knew it. He turned right around and headed for the penalty box.
Well, it gives the North Stars a chance to display one of their strong suits in this series, and that being the power play. They've scored 7 power play goals in 24 chances. That's nearly 30%. And both Marouk and McKegney, who are on the ice, each have 2 power play goals. Doug Wilson, right from the faceoff, clears it down. Now Hartsburg behind the net, leaves it for Marouk. Back to Hartsburg.
One of the ironic things about this series, Frank, the North Stars are down 3-1, but their special teams play better than Chicago in all the categories. Normally, that is a telling factor in this series. It hasn't been so far. Dennis Marouk, who, along with Tony McKegney and Willie Plett, has, in my judgment, been the most effective Minnesota line over the last part of the season and the playoffs.
We were talking about the lack of scoring from the forwards. It's not because of this line. They have 7 of the North Stars goals, while Broughton's line has 3. Acton's line has just 2. And now Ludzik has a few bad words and throws a punch into Marouk, and then Willie Plett retaliates as he threw a shot into Ludzik. All of this with the gloves on.
Well, it all started in the positioning and the faceoff. You can see McKegney and Doug Wilson rather wrestling pretty good as one of the linesmen sends Marouk to the penalty box. Ludzik and Marouk both going to go.
I just wonder if that retaliatory action by Plett will not leave the North Stars a man short here. We'll see. Well, apparently they didn't detect Willie. At least that's what I thought I saw.
What are we going to call that? Roughing, I suppose? Huh?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll call it roughing, and regardless what the official score says. Time of the penalties to Ludzik and Marouk, 7:28. Slashing.
All right, they each get slashing penalties. 7:28 the time. And because there is already a minor penalty in effect, neither team will play short because of these 2 penalties. 1:41 left on the penalty to Savard. The Blackhawks lead 1-0. Here's Acton trying to get in past Bob Murray. Payne picks it up, looking for Wilson. Wilson at the blue line, got it away from Gardner, cuts in, centers in, a shot deflected. Bellows, a tremendous deflection, and Bannerman a great save.
Well, again, North Stars had a man exactly where they wanted him. Wilson put it right on his stick. Bellows tried to deflect it, and Bannerman comes up big again.
Now Wilson to Acton, to Bellows onside. Bellows centering for Acton, and he was well covered by Bob Murray. Here's Hartsburg in deep, bothered by Patterson. 1:05 on the power play. Bellows. Hartsburg now high in the slot. Back to Brian Bellows. Got it to the side for Acton. Acton chased around by Bob Murray, who got his stick on the puck, cleared it. It hit Acton. Now to Bellows in the corner. High in the slot, Ron Wilson, a shot deflected, a rebound. And it hit Doug Wilson and went wide. 45 seconds on the power play. Hartsburg, Acton, and now to Ron Wilson. Bothered by Gardner, he sends it to Bellows. Bellows back to Ron Wilson all alone, shooting, and a pad save by Bannerman again. Nice shot by Ron Wilson as that one was ticketed for the corner, but we have penalties coming up. Boy, I thought that was a well-placed shot by Wilson.
It was indeed. Part of the activity in front of the net is going to result in penalties to Payne and Doug Wilson, so the penalty box getting pretty crowded.
Seems said, more often than not, a lot of the shots that Bannerman has faced in this series have been right at him, but not this one.
Nope. He went for the stick side, which has occasionally been interpreted as Bannerman's weakest point, but not that time. Time of the penalties to Doug Wilson and Payne is 8:38.
So they each get high sticking minors. And we remain with a 5-on-4 North Star power play. Here's Graham. 20 seconds left on the Savard penalty. Gordy Roberts, Cicerelli, watched by Brown and Troy Murray on that far side. Into the corner for Graham, looking for Broughton. It's broken up by Ben Wilson. Cleared, but not out. Giles kept it in. Tries to sidestep Troy Murray, and finally the Hawks are able to clear, and that'll wipe out the penalty to Savard.
Snappy-looking power play, everything but a goal, as they threw it around pretty well.
Here's a puck that got away from Broughton, but he recovered to get it to Graham. Graham hits the line and centers it. Cicerelli cutting in, and it was batted away by Bob Murray, but Dino plays it to Giles. Giles' pass broken up by Olchuk. It came out of the zone, and it was brought back in offside. And a little bad blood now between Ben Wilson and Dirk Graham. 10.5 minutes left in the first period. Chicago leads 1-0. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, the North Stars with a good-looking power play. Unfortunately, didn't produce anything, but again, they had some opportunities, threw the puck around well. Maybe that's an omen of things to come.
Well, they're certainly not out of this game.
Shervin and Troy Murray on this face-off.
Troy Murray finally kicking it back for Brown. Brown checked at center ice by Roberts, and the errant pass is grabbed by Giles. Now Roberts again looking for Plett. The play is onside at the center line as Willie shoots it in now. Here's Troy Murray taking a whack at it. Finally picked up by the North Star player Shervin. McKegney goes after it. Here's Willie Plett. Back to McKegney, bothered by Ben Wilson. Gord Shervin, former Edmonton Oiler player. Sure, he'd like nothing better than to play against his former teammates. As Plett was checked, then Ben Wilson threw a check into Bellows. A lot of heavy hitting. Fraser and Plett have their gloves off. Play is finally called. Looks like those two boys want to go. Somebody's stick is caught in between, and it finally drops out. And you hear the roar for the takedown.
A couple of old enemies there. We've been telling Willie he's got to find some guys without helmets to fight. He keeps saying they're enemy. Can't find them anymore.
Plett goes off to a chorus of boos from the fans here. And Kurt Fraser is also escorted to the penalty box.
Time of the penalties is 10:04. I should think fighting for each.
Here's a look at the initial pileup.
The Fraser came in, Willie with a good elbow then. Now they're going to give Plett 2 minutes, I'll bet, for the elbow. See if Fraser gets anything.
All right.
Guess not. Fraser's going to get 5 for fighting, I guess. Willie gets 2 for elbowing.
Here are the penalties.
2 minutes for elbowing, 5 minutes for fighting.
Well, they'll call it rough.
Fraser, 5 minutes for fighting.
The Blackhawks will get their first power play.
Blackhawk penalty, Fraser, 5 minutes fighting.
Our star penalty killers include Broughton and Graham. Richter and Harold Sneps are back on defense as you look at Glenn Sonmore.
It's awful tough to find any room down there.
Our Stars have held Chicago to just 3 power play goals in this series. 3 in 21 chances. Halfway point of the period, the North Stars have an 8-4 edge in shots.
A lot of those have been good ones, too.
Excellent, yes. Blackhawks lead 1-0. They're going to go to the power play right now.
Broughton and Lysiak. Lysiak has had a strong series for the Blackhawks. Seems like he's won about every face-off he's been involved in.
He just won this one, getting it back to Brown on a second effort. Brown backhands it away from the forecheck of Broughton. Graham gets his stick on it. Has to wait to bring it in because Broughton was trapped inside. Now he'll rag the puck a little bit, dropping it back to Richter. And Richter shoots it all the way down. Graham going right in after it. But Murray Bannerman left it for Ben Wilson. 1:30 to go on the power play as Brown shoots it in. Here's Lysiak in the corner. Errol Snepps draws a bead, missed the check. Now Richter bumps his man off the puck. Brown cannot keep it in. Our Stars will change as they bring Acton and Bellows on. I'm not sure why the fans are reacting. Now Brown for Chicago with 1:15 on the power play. Laying it ahead for Larmer. He got away from his check. He shoots a nice pad save by Meloche, who was out a good 15 feet to cut down the angle. Now Ben Wilson and Keith Acton go after it. Wilson playing it away. Here's Bob Murray. Bob Murray for the Blackhawks. Long dump in attempt. Here's Secord. Went off his stick and came all the way back into the Chicago zone.
Well, just 44 seconds remaining in the man advantage.
Ciccarelli is serving that minor penalty to Plett. So we'll wait for his appearance on the ice. Here's Bob Murray driving it in again. Then he was dumped by Acton. Secord along the boards, knocks it free. Roberts has it. Tries the other door. Bob Murray waits, keeps it in. Got it to Bill Gardner. A return pass by Troy Murray was broken up. They center it again. And Belichick got it. Here's two Blackhawks in front. Meloche with two great saves. Two Chicago players and no one to watch them. Gardner centering. A shot goes off the base of the net. Roberts is tied up by Larmer. Savard has it. 8 seconds on the power play. Centering it. And Meloche covers up in the goal crease.
Well, lots of activity, and Gilly Meloche stands his ground. Only 4 seconds remaining in the man advantage for the Blackhawks. Payne and Doug Wilson come back on, so they're available. Well, heavy pressure here by the Hawks.
A little great goaltending and a little good luck for the North Stars.
That's the one that hit the side of the net. And
boy,
good pressure.
They suddenly had two men in past all North Star penalty killers. 2-on-0, if you will.
Savard trying to stuff it in. Finds no room at the corner. And the faceoff will be in the Minnesota zone with just 4 seconds remaining in the power play. Marouk and Troy Murray are the faceoff.
End of 2 periods. Philadelphia 2, the Islanders nothing.
Well, if they win, that's it for that series.
That's right. Ilka Sinisalo scoring the lone goal. Is it as a 1-0 score? 1-0 is a score. 4 seconds left on the power play. Here's Hartsburg. Tries to get away from Ludzik. Doug Wilson kept it in. Then he was checked by Marouk. Penalty is over. Troy Murray is shot. That hit Hartsburg. Stunned him a little bit. Now Ludzik checked by Hartsburg. Ludzik shooting it around to Olczyk. He's hit by Snepps. O'Callaghan with a shot, and that's deflected by Troy Murray out of play. Snepps with a little bit of a late hit on Ed Olczyk.
Well, the North Stars harbor no great fondness for Olczyk. That's for sure.
He has had an outstanding season. You look at Steve Ludzik, and I guess the only rap against Olczyk would be his play in the corners. But I'm sure with his good size and the more experience he gains in the league, he'll be a tough one in the corners before his career is much further along. Now Doug Wilson shooting it in. We're 5 skaters aside, and we have a stick above the shoulder call. We'll face it off in the Minnesota end.
1-0 Chicago on the goal by Dennis Savard early on in this first period. North Stars not without good-looking chances, but nothing on the board thus far.
Savard with 18 points for the Blackhawks in the regular season against Minnesota, picking up another 9 points now in 4+ playoff games. Olczyk goes after it. He left it for O'Callaghan, who played it behind to Ludzik. Quick centering pass for Troy Murray, and it hopped off his stick. There's going to be a penalty. Snaps for high sticking. Well, we can't afford many more of these. Back with the Chicago power play in a moment. It's the Blackhawks 1, the North Stars nothing.
Snaps goes for high sticking at 12:38. And the man we spoke of a moment ago, Ed Olczyk, involved. And he's the guy that Snaps went after. Watch, Harold, there's Olczyk right out in front.
And for good measure, gave him a little extra push there.
Well, North Stars again find themselves shorthanded.
Here's Graham going after the puck with Doug Wilson. He sends it in front of the Chicago net. Bob Murray has it. We've passed that crucial halfway point of this period, that 10-minute mark. The North Stars in pretty good standing here, just down by a goal. And at the halfway point, they had outshot Chicago 8-4. So that bodes well for Minnesota's chances. Now 90 seconds left on that penalty. Here's a steal by Graham. Then he had it knocked away. Bob Murray at center ice. The Chicago defenseman brings it in, shoots it around. Larmer waits for it, let it go through. Doug Wilson at the point, back to Savard. He can't handle it, and it's cleared by Richter.
Well, I think we're at a point in this game, in this series, Frank, where the North Stars could use just a little shot of unspeakably good luck. A sloppy goal would look awful good right now. Just to break loose.
Well, not to mention a nice shorthanded goal right here. Now Troy Murray and Bellows, they're joined by Secord, but Troy Murray takes it away. Brown open, shoots, a great glove save by Malash. That was splendid. He had lots of time to look at it and speared it.
Well, Brown trying to go high into the short side. Chile looked like he might have been drifting a little bit to his right there, and he had to reach back for it and snap it up. 55 seconds remaining in the high sticking penalty to Harold Snepts. 6:17 remaining in the first period.
But I think the worst fear for the North Stars was that the Blackhawks would come out storming so hard that no team in the world would be able to stop them. But as it is right now, a fairly close hockey game. It's just a 1-goal difference. A couple of early goals by Chicago could have put the North Stars in a real desperate position. However, this next goal to be scored will be a crucial one. Now here's Lysiak. On the Chicago power play, 45 seconds left. Sutter in front for Troy Murray. He tried to bat it in. Got a piece of it, but it dropped straight down. Now Brown is checked by Bellows, and it's cleared all the way out by Giles.
Oh, I'd like to see that again. I'm not sure he didn't hit it and hit the pipe.
Now the North Stars going to make change of penalty killers. Ben Wilson has it. And then flips it in past Giles. Malash watching as Troy Murray came right in. He was checked by Velishek. Then plays it to the blue line for Ben Wilson. Across to Brown. Then into the corner. Lysiak waiting. Troy Murray is stationed in front. But the passing lanes are all shut down by the North Stars. Sutter centering, broken up by Malash. Loose in front. A turnaround by Ben Wilson. Hit traffic. The penalty is over, and Malash covers up.
The Blackhawks with a good chance as the penalty to Snepts expired, but again, Malash comes up big, and with the help of his defenseman, falls on it and smothers the puck. See, Malash did a good job of tipping it, but didn't get away with it. There's the first stop. Now they're trying to give him some help, and he gets it right there. Gentle Ben, who was roundly booed in Game 1 here, as he gave away a couple to Minnesota, is apparently back in the good graces of the Chicago fans.
Willie Plett and Kurt Fraser remain the only two players in the penalty box, continuing to sit off their major penalties for fighting. 5:19 left in period 1. The only goal was scored by Dennis Savard early in the game at 3:32. Now Doug Wilson at the Chicago line, across for O'Callahan. McKechnie closed in on him rather quickly. Roberts to Ron Wilson, back to Gordy Roberts, off his skate. Rick Patterson goes after it, centers it. It hit the base of the net. Then Malash played it away. And Gardner was spun around by Wilson. And along the near boards, Shervin took a shot across the back of the head by Ludzik. No penalty there. Finally, Gordy Roberts, chased by Patterson, shot it away from Ludzik. Then Shervin backhands it neatly to McKechnie, who left it for Marouk. 3-on-3, they hit the line. A shot by McKechnie and a stick save by Bannerman. Marouk playing it to Ron Wilson. His centering attempt was deflected by Gardner. The Hawks clear. Gardner has it. Waits for someone to catch up to the play. Tried to feed it to Doug Wilson, and it creates an offside.
Busy night for linesmen because they get to break up all the scuffles and fights.
Yes.
It's good to be a referee.
A tough series for the linesmen.
Right. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Gord Shervin seeing really his first extended action of the playoffs.
Well, we mentioned his desire to play against his former teammates, the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, that'll take 3 straight Minnesota wins. But as one Chicago fan pointed out to me, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Blackhawks just got done winning 3 straight from the North Stars. Well, we'll see.
And each team has demonstrated they can win in the other team's building, so lots can happen.
Here's Sutter. Centering it. Giles, or rather Hartsburg, flipping it ahead for Acton a little bit too far. Now DuPont has it for Chicago. Coming up on 4 minutes left, and we have a high sticking penalty coming up on Chicago.
Well, again, one of those away from the play, seemingly useless penalties. I think it's going to be DuPont. We'll see. Nope, Murray.
All right, Bob Murray will go, and we'll be back with the North Star power play in a moment. It's the Blackhawks 1, the
North Stars on the power play, and what a good chance to get even in this game late in the first period. Bob Murray, 2 minutes for high sticking at 15:48.
Acton and Gardner in the face-off circle.
Acton, Payne, and Bellows up front. Wilson, Ron Wilson, that is. And Craig Hartsburg at the points.
There's Payne playing it to Wilson. He's watched by Gardner. Now Hartsburg has it. And Brian Bellows. Bellows waiting. Lets a blast go. That's blocked by Bannerman. And then he slides the puck away to Gardner, who is checked by Bellows. Ron Wilson keeps it in with the skate. Then it deflects. And Gardner goes racing in after it, but Meloche has plenty of time to come out and play it away. Now Bellows, a bouncing puck, nearly lost it to Gardner, and it deflects over to Ron Wilson. Fires it to Payne. That just missed. Payne and Brown tie up. Bellows has the loose puck. Back to Hartsburg. Lets it go. And a stick save by Bannerman. 1:20 on the North Star power play. Bellows is checked. Payne got it to Hartsburg, across to Ron Wilson. Spins around and shoots. It deflects high over the net. And the Hawks clear it, but not out. Hartsburg keeping it in. Good work by the point men. Bellows, watched by Patterson, now by Brown. Into the corner for Acton. Payne and Ben Wilson battle in front. Acton to Bellows. Payne and Wilson still battle as Acton shoots. It deflects wide. Under a minute on the power play. Ron Wilson to Bellows in the corner. He tried to center but missed it. Acton and Brown collide. Brown riding Acton right into the boards. Bellows trying to knock the puck free. Acton tries to kick it free. He's being held. Now Payne has it. Back to Hartsburg. Over to Ron Wilson. Centering it. Acton had to go off his skate. Keith Brown plays it off the glass. Patterson waits and then shoots it all the way down. Well, they controlled the puck well and had perhaps one good shot on goal in that first 90 seconds of the power play. Another 20 seconds remain as Neil Broughton charges ahead to the Chicago line, but it's broken up by O'Callahan. Ron Wilson, 15 seconds left on Bob Murray's penalty. Roberts, nice pass to Broughton to drop to Ciccarelli. And then he is checked down to the ice by Doug Wilson and comes up looking for a penalty, but the Hawks are 3-on-2. Doug Wilson has shot that one off Giles. Troy Murray centers it, and it got in behind Giles. Now Bob Murray comes out of the penalty box as Ciccarelli carries it in. Got it to Broughton. Broughton gets controls, tries to pull it back to the point, but it was deflected and goes back to the North Star line.
Well, Murray came back at exactly the right time for Chicago because it would have been 2-on-1 and he not.
Now Savard got his stick on the puck for a moment as Giles shoots it over to Gordy Roberts. Under 2 minutes left in period 1. Broughton now to Dirk Graham. Long shot goes into the corner. Secord first man to the puck. Secord chased by Ciccarelli. Brown runs a little interference. Ben Wilson fires a perfect pass to Savard. Now 3-on-2, and they're offside. A close play at the blue line. And Secord and Velishek shove one another. Or perhaps Secord did the only shoving.
Well, Secord and Maruk pushing a little bit, and of course that's a mismatch. Randy Velishek felt compelled to come in and offer a little support. 1:34 remaining first period. The man who they hate in all the other cities but love him here in Chicago. Or as Glenn Sonmore put it so distinctly, all depends on whose bull's getting gored. Think that one through, huh?
Yes,
like that?
He has a great way with words.
Steve Myers over at the bench now talking to Keith Acton. Acton and Brown were really yapping and swinging at each other, so we probably haven't seen the end of that either.
I tell you, in a long and sometime very laborious season, Glenn Sonmore has always been a bright spot. Now it's shot in by Troy Murray. Kurt Fraser centers it for Olczyk. He was checked by Velishek. Troy Murray to Olczyk. A backhand deflected, and Milosh got a piece of it to knock wide as Fraser was parked in the goal crease. North Stars break out, 3 men across. Maruk offside, but was just a half step ahead of the play.
Seen quite a few offside calls in this series, and a lot of them have been awful close.
Bob Myers holding his hand up already, not allowing any line change by the North Stars.
Well, Willie Plett clearly has played his best hockey of the year during the playoffs by a substantial margin.
Get no argument here. Troy Murray, Dennis Maruk ready for this face-off. 1:12 left in the first period. Velishek got it to the Chicago line. O'Callahan rattles it off a couple of skates to get it down in the North Star end. Giles with 60 seconds left to Tony McKegney. He'll flip it in. Plett and Olczyk battling for it. A loose puck to McKegney, walking right in on goal. A save, a loose puck is batted away. Hartsburg a blast. He didn't get all of it, but play had been called. Perhaps that's why he didn't pull the trigger more fully. The goal had come loose.
I think he saw that Tony McKegney was down in the goal, and that's why he pulled back on it. Another close call, as Minnesota has had a lot of good-looking chances, but so far nothing. Tony McKegney with a goal the other evening at the Met. Walked in on Olczyk, walked in on Bannerman. They had him down, just couldn't get it over him again. Again, we've seen a lot of that. Yes, indeed. Great addition to the Minnesota hockey team, I'll tell you that. Well, there's the man of the hour so far.
.49 seconds left in the period as Acton is ready for the face-off, and now Tom Lysiak finally skates around. There's a look at the clock at the top of the screen. And they don't drop the puck yet. This series will be remembered, I think, for the linesmen and face-offs.
You're probably right.
It could go 7 games, and fans may remember that most. Now Brown has it. Checked by Payne, thrown down by Payne, no penalty. North Stars get a break. Acton's backhand deflects wide. Payne circles the net, centers it. No one there except Yaremchuk to take it away. Up ice with Sutter. The pass was behind him. The play, they say, is onside. And then Bellows makes the interception and clears it out. 25 seconds left in period number 1. Sutter deflects it at center. Payne goes after it. Sutter right after him to bat it ahead. Roberts. Now to Hartsburg. Throwing it out at center ice. It got through to Brown, the defenseman for Chicago. 10 seconds left. He shoots it in. Watch out for Sutter. Well, that's the last thing in the world the North Stars needed. A goal with 6 seconds left on a dump-in pass into the corner.
See an obvious lapse as he fires it in, and the Blackhawks, of course, knowing the building, are able to predict what the puck is likely to do coming out of the corner. And Sutter cruises in and fires it right between the pads of Jill Milosh. 19:54 the time.
Seconds run down as this first period comes to a close. And if you don't think that goal doesn't mean a lot, you've got another think coming.
Well, obviously, any goal that puts the home team up 2-0 hurt you. But more distinctly so, certainly, in the waning moments of the period. Shots on goal in the period. Minnesota with 13 and the Blackhawks with 12.
We have completed 20 minutes of play. The score at the end of one period, Chicago 2, Minnesota nothing. Back with our first intermission in a moment.
The period here at the Chicago Stadium, the Blackhawks leading the North Stars. We need to revise the shots on goal in that period. They were indeed 13-12, but 13-12 the margin in favor of the Blackhawks. Blackhawks scored early and then seemed to be going along fairly well for the North Stars and gave up that late goal. So let's look at what we have in terms of highlights, or in this case, lowlights if you happen to be a North Star fan. Dennis Savard Fires from long range, in fact, just at the blue line. And something that gave Gilles Meloche some trouble in the first game, the long shot here at the stadium, gives him trouble again as he's beaten to the stick side. Dennis Savard at .332. The assist went to Al Secord and to Steve Larmer, and that put the Blackhawks up by a score of 1-0. North Stars certainly did not lack for good chances in the interim and in the first period, but again, Murray Bannerman very, very tough. And then a goal that we hope is not going to be deadly for the North Stars, but certainly the type you never want to give up. From center, Keith Brown fires it in very hard off the corner boards. And there's Sutter sneaking into the picture, takes it right off the boards, bangs it right between the pads of Gilles Meloche. Brown gets the only assist, and that came at 19:54 of the first period to make the score 2-0. And certainly one would think left a bit of a bitter taste in the mouth of the North Stars as they headed down to the locker room after that first period. Very tough blow for them to overcome. They're looking at an uphill battle, and they'll have to keep digging to get back into this hockey game. It's 2-0. Our teams will be back on in just a second. Let's go back to Frank Mazzocco.
All right, Roger, thanks very much. North Star Rally, of course, is what's needed for Game 6 to be played, and if it is needed, it'll be played Tuesday night at the Met Center. Tickets are available at the North Stars ticket office at the Met Center, also at the Dayton's ticket office. Or if you'd like to charge it by phone, 853-9300 is the number. MasterCard, Visa, and American Express will be accepted on those telephone charges. We want to pass on a hello to all of our viewers throughout the great state of Minnesota who are watching, including our affiliate up in Fargo on KVNJ TV and also up on TV 30 in Alexandria. And many of you who are watching on a number of cable systems throughout the state. The newcomer of those cable viewers in Winona on Group W. So we say hello. And again, we'll pass on a hello to a good friend Charlie Nunemaker up in Big Sky, Montana. Claims to be the only Blackhawk fan in North Star country up there. Well, Charlie must be happy right now.
Still pulling it off the satellite.
Right off the Big Bird. He's pulling it.
Did you say hi to Fargo?
Yes, we did.
Say hi to Dick Brow's mom and dad?
No, I didn't.
Well, say hi to Dick Brow's mom and dad. Watching in Fargo.
Mr. and Mrs. Brown. I didn't realize that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a pleasant surprise. All right, the teams, as you can tell, are back on the ice. We're ready to go for the period, and the huge question right now, the only significant question, is how demoralizing, if at all, would that last goal be by Sutter with 6 seconds left?
North Stars open with the Dennis Marouk line. Tony McKegney and Willie Plett with them. Harold Snepps with the puck, and Craig Hartsburg on defense.
Marouk playing it ahead to Plett. Plett driving it in. Into the corner goes Olchuk trying to play it back. Now Snepps firing it across. No one is there. Hartsburg quickly covers the other point to keep it alive. Now McKegney in front for Marouk, and he was checked. Plett reaching for it. Now Harold Snepps has it. Got past Fraser. He took a stick up high. Centered to McKegney and hopped off his stick. And the Blackhawks batted out. Troy Murray flying to center ice. Now hits the Minnesota line with a shot. Looked like it fooled Meloche, but it went high and wide. Olchuk centering it. And then Hartsburg was there to bat it away. Olchuk rolls it in front again, and Meloche got the stick on it and pins it to the base of the net.
Well, Harold Snepps and Olchuk. Harry, not popular here in Chicago.
I saw a banner up for Harry. I'm just trying to remember what it said and if it can be repeated on the air.
Ask me what happens after the game.
Tell me what happens.
Coming up after the game, 10:30, Peter Sellers and Peter O'Toole star in What's New Pussycats. A very funny comedy tonight at 10:30 on Channel 29.
You're a big Sellers fan, I know.
I am.
Is that one of his better flicks?
If you like, later on I'll sing the theme song for that. But
no, it's not what I asked you.
All right. Anyway, 10:30 on Channel 29.
Taking too many liberties with those movie promos. Here's Gordy Roberts. Now out to Brian Bellows. The Blackhawks leading 2-0. The second period just underway as Bellows' shot sails way high and off the glass. Now Acton to Roberts. His shot goes into the corner. Sutter first man of the puck. Sutter has scored a couple of crucial goals. The game winner Thursday night, and now the goal here, they give the Blackhawks a 2-0 lead. They're called for icing right now.
18:55 remaining second period. The North Stars, I'm sure, wondering what they're going to have to do to get one behind Bannerman. Goaltending never without luck. Need some here. Philadelphia and the Islanders We show still 9 minutes remaining in the third period. Philadelphia hanging on to that 1-0 lead.
Islanders aren't going to give in very easily, are they?
No, they're not. They're not going to go quietly. You probably heard by now, last evening, Quebec took a 3-2 lead in their series with Montreal by winning at the Forum. Never an easy task.
Well, so now they go to Le Calasi with the edge there. 3 games to 2. As Gord Prosker makes some repairs to the ice surface here. Well, we've only played 1 minute and 5 seconds of period number 2. Still too early to get a true indication as how the North Stars will react to that late first period goal by Sutter. Right now they have Keith Acton in between Bo Berglund and Brian Bellows. Acton to face off against Lysiak. And we're kind of right back where we started from here. A nice long delay in getting the face-off going. And finally, both players are waved out. Rule, of course, being that the visiting player must get his stick down first. Draw one by Bellows. Acton, Richter, shot, stick save by Bannerman. And now Lysiak has it. He plays it to Yaremchuk. Bumped by Berglund. Throws it across to Sutter, and Sutter drops it back to Ben Wilson, who fires it in. It got past Meloche. Brown at the point keeps it alive. And Dave Richter has it for Minnesota. Richter looking for Acton. Acton still looking for his first goal in the series. Now Gordie Roberts checked as he shot or tried to shoot by Lysiak. And then Acton drops it back to Berglund, over to Dave Richter again. Now to Keith Acton. Trying to break through. He's knocked down. The puck is still loose. Lysiak bats it away. Sutter has it. Cleared it poorly. Richter fanned on it, and the Hawks poke it to center. Yaremchuk challenging Roberts. Roberts' pass picked off that center ice by Lysiak. Then Lysiak feeds it ahead. Sutter on his off wing. Shoots. Blocked by Meloche. Big rebound. Finally cleared out by Richter. His pass was broken up. He goes back for the puck. Yaremchuk takes it away. Blackhawks in the middle of change. Yaremchuk finally has Secord in front, and his shot deflects into the corner. Savard in front for DuPont. It came right through. Yaremchuk centers it again. Hopped off the stick of Richter. DuPont keeps it in. Savard to Secord. The shot and a goal. And the Blackhawks lead 3-0.
Well, as happened at the Met on Thursday evening, it seemed as though every time the North Stars had trouble in their own zone, the puck wound up in the net, and that's exactly what happened in this sequence. They couldn't clear the zone, and Savard takes the pass and snaps off the quick wrist shot. Problematical that Meloche may have been partially screened by one of his own players. But the time of the goal at any rate is 2:24 and gives Chicago a 3-0 lead.
And that is a huge lead. Well, I don't think Yaremchuk will get an assist on that play, but it was the main reason Chicago was able to keep the play going in the Minnesota end. Secord getting the goal. That's his 5th of the playoffs.
Number 25, Jerome DuPont at 2:24. Blackhawk goal scored by Secord.
Secord from Savard and DuPont at 2:24.
Secord and Savard now each with 2 points tonight, as the fans have thrown just about everything imaginable onto the ice, including a pocket full of change.
Well, it's if nothing else, that helps to slow the Blackhawk momentum. Channel 29 has the largest feature film library of any Twin Cities TV station. The Kitten That Roars presents 26 different films every week, so make sure to check Channel 29's TV listings. What's New Pussycat tonight, 10:30. Got some good ones coming up here. We'll talk about them later.
All right, that's it. Hide the list from me. Make me wait, too.
Well, there's Ken Yaremchuk. He, in large part, is responsible for that Chicago goal because he did some good work in the Minnesota zone while his team was effecting a line change. He was literally 1-on-5 there for a few minutes, but he managed to hang on to the puck until his teammates got there.
more than a pocket full of change thrown onto the ice as the crew here at the stadium is still trying to scrape up the loose debris. J.P. Parisi talking things over with Glenn Sonmore. Parisi has been behind the bench throughout the playoffs. His partner, assistant coach Murray Oliver, has been up in the press box at the other end of the two-way system. And once Parisi had a couple of wins under his belt at St. Louis, they figured why break up a winning combination. So he's been behind the bench.
I'm sure they're both thinking we better come up with something good soon.
And soon may be the key part of that. Now here's Ciccarelli. The Broughton line is on. Dino carries it in. Checked by Dupont. He tries to weave his way through. He's hauled down by Bob Murray. Or at least that's what Bob Myers believes. And there will be a penalty on Chicago. Blackhawks 3, the North Stars nothing. We'll be back with the power play in a moment.
Bob Murray gets 2 for hooking at 2:45, giving the North Stars a man advantage at a time when they are badly in need of a goal. Certainly not a good penalty, I would think, by Murray, as Ciccarelli, after weaving through some traffic, had gotten rid of the puck and was in no position to do any further harm, and Murray brought him down.
Or at least Dino grabbed his stick and then went down.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Never happened. Never happened.
Hartsburg at the point. North Stars on their third power play, 0 for 2 thus far. Hartsburg shot, deflected. Bannerman made the save, and Doug Wilson clears. Now Malash leads it for Ron Wilson. Rick Patterson right in on top of the play. Now Gardner goes into forecheck. Here's Hartsburg for the North Stars, looking for Marouk. He breaks through. He's hooked. He shoots. Bannerman a pad save, and he covers up on the loose puck.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. So that demonstrates it very vividly right there. As Dennis Marouk moves in alone with a pretty good-looking chance.
I'd like to see his chance had he not been hooked.
That's right. Did a fine job just getting that shot away. It looked like he might have been able to slide it under Bannerman, but no luck.
It's one of those cases where you wonder if they would call all penalties on any use of the stick other than the puck. How different this game might be. Not tonight's game, but the game of hockey.
1:34 remaining in the hooking penalty to Bob Murray.
Draw back to Hartsburg. High in the slot. Lets it go. Pad save by Bannerman. The rebound squirts loose, and the Hawks get it. And it's cleared out by Patterson. Hartsburg over to Ron Wilson. 1:20 to go on the power play. Hartsburg had to go off his stick into the corner. He'll have to hurry. Gardner is right there. Then Hartsburg played it to his partner Wilson. And back to Craig Hartsburg. Plenty of time on the power play. Here's McKegney. At the line, he left it for Marouk. Marouk shoots. A nice pad save by Bannerman again. He was partially screened, and Willie Plett throws a solid check into Brown. Here's Marouk. Cutting in again. His third chance on this power play. Hartsburg shooting, and that hit Patterson. And Patterson breaks free. He's hooked. No penalty there either. Now McKegney onside. Left it for Marouk. 40 seconds on the power play. Here's Ron Wilson, and he lost it. Ben Wilson for Chicago backhands it off the skate of Patterson at center. Now Marouk coming in again. North Stars making a change. The pass got behind everybody. Now Ciccarelli got it to Graham. Graham looking for Marouk, and it's broken up by Ben Wilson. A diving play by Gardner knocks the puck loose, and then Wilson uses the boards to get it out. 15 seconds left on the penalty to Bob Murray. Here's Hartsburg. Crosses to center. Got it to Broughton. The play is onside. Broughton stops. He's checked by Troy Murray. Got it to Hartsburg. Shot hit Doug Wilson. Broughton has the rebound. Centering it. Graham shooting. And that hit the falling Jack O'Callahan as the penalty to Bob Murray expires. Here's O'Callahan playing it behind his own net. Ron Wilson goes after it. Broughton flying right in after him. But Wilson got it to Troy Murray, who lost it to Ron Wilson. Trailing is Graham. In the slot, Broughton shot a pad save by Bannerman again. He is unbeatable. O'Callahan a long blast, and that sails high and wide. Here's Velishek. We've played 5 minutes of period 2, and the Blackhawks lead 3-0. Dirk Graham trying to stick handle, but lost it to Larmer. Secord in the slot, and the pass was a bit ahead of him. Secord tried to center. He does again, and it's taken away by Brian Bellows of the North Stars. Larmer intercepts. Back to Savard. In front for Secord. He's checked and spun around by Graham. Larmer picks up the loose puck. Larmer takes it to the point. 5 skaters aside. Here's Brown. Waiting, shooting. It's blocked by Malash and deflects into the corner. Graham fanned on it, but Velishek picks it up. His pass deflected by Larmer, and Chicago is in control of this hockey game. Everything they do is right. Everything the North Stars do is foiled. Now Velishek in the corner. Deflected by Savard, but picked up by Berglund anyway. Ahead, too far for Broughton, and it's cleared out by Ben Wilson. Batted away by Richter. Grabbed by Bellows in the center ice area. Bellows dropped it back for Acton. Larmer steps in front and sends the puck in the zone. Richter got it to Roberts. Now ahead to Bellows. Again, Berglund is playing left wing on this line. Acton is clotheslined nearly at center ice, but he gets back up. Berglund lost it at the Chicago line. Roberts got it to Richter, and Richter shoots it on goal. Bannerman has to make a save. Here's Bob Murray. Ahead for Lysiak, too far. They're going to wave off the icing as it got through Roberts. Malash has nowhere to play it. He has to leave it for Roberts. Now to Berglund. Deflected to Bellows at center. North Stars in the middle of a change. Here's Baruch again. But 2 Chicago defenders break up that rush. Yaremchuk to Sutter. He's open. He shoots. Blocked by Malash, and he reaches out to glove it and hold on. 7 minutes elapsed here in period 2. The Hawks lead 3-0.
In the Chicago zone, or excuse me, the Minnesota zone, Dennis Maruk will take the draw against Troy Murray. Troy Murray's been active this series. Troy Murray's been very active for Chicago in this series.
Very much so. He did not have a good regular season against the North Stars, but has come on extremely well here in the playoffs. Roberts got away from Olchuk. Now plays it to Maruk. Maruk flips it in. Willie Plett trying to get past Doug Wilson. O'Callahan there. The North Stars center it. And Roberts couldn't get to the puck. Now Roberts is challenged quickly by Troy Murray. Richter has it. Back to Gordy Roberts. From center ice, he'll shoot it in. They wave off the icing. Bannerman gets his stick on it, then lost it. He's out quite a bit. Now McKegney in front for Plett, and he was checked. McKegney to the blue line for Richter. A wrist shot. Oh, deflected just wide. And Olchuk bangs it all the way down. There might be icing here. No, they've waved it off. Richter and Fraser go after the puck. Here's Dave Richter. Now to Tony McKegney. Our Stars still skating well, but they're called on a 2-line offside here.
Well, a lot of scuffling in between Willie Plett and a couple of the Blackhawks in front of the net that time. He had Bannerman down, but still no luck. You know, Frank, particularly on the North Star power plays tonight, they have looked threatening almost every moment. But Acton says, I'm all right. You get to a point, I guess it depends on your point of view. Is Bannerman that good, or are the North Star forwards just not scoring? I guess if you're a Minnesota fan, you think it's the forwards. If you're a Chicago fan, you think Bannerman's that good. So it's probably a little bit of each, I guess. Huh?
I suppose. It's tough from up here to try to measure the quality of the shots when they get in close, but it certainly appears that they have had outstanding chances. Velishek now ahead to Graham. 3-on-2. The North Stars to center. Broughton onside. Got it to Ciccarelli. Shallow angle shot stopped by Bannerman. And he holds on. Every save he makes draws another roar from the capacity crowd here. That'll do nothing but pump up the Blackhawks and perhaps demoralize the North Stars.
Well, certainly you reach a point the way Bannerman's going where probably Bannerman himself and his teammates especially begin to think that the guy can't be beaten.
And that also rubs off on the North Stars.
I think when you're a goaltender, it's not unlike a baseball player when he's hitting. When you're on, the thing looks like a watermelon coming in. When you're not, it looks like an aspirin.
Broughton and Savard, the Hawks control. DuPont behind the net, playing it ahead for Larmer. Too far for Savard. Velishek back to Giles. And to Randy Velishek once more. Larmer intercepts. He's tied up by the young North Star defenseman Velishek. Dirk Graham brings it in as Broughton was floored right in front of Bob Myers. No penalty. Approaching the halfway point of the second period. At Chicago 3, the North Stars nothing.
See on the scoreboard, we're not quite to the halfway mark of this hockey game. Frank, I would think one thing the North Stars must be wary of, and that is keep working and not fall into the trap of trying to do it all yourself. The only thing that's going to produce goals is continued good hard work.
And good team play is what you're saying.
Exactly right.
Well, I would say through the first 8 or 9 minutes of this period, they have done that. Here's Savard trying to throw it back to his defenseman. Finally, it's picked up by Larmer. Ciccarelli going in after Larmer, who played it ahead. Now Broughton intercepts. Bob Murray knocked it down. Velishek tried to center, but it's taken away by Larmer again. Speeding to the North Star line, cuts to the middle, flips it ahead for Savard, who wraps it in front. A loose puck is under Melange, and a goal! Blackhawks lead has now climbed to 4-0.
Well, there's really nothing you can attribute this one to except just plain bad luck on the part of Gilles Melange, because the puck is under him. Play should be dead. You see him falling on it. And, of course, what happens, it skitters out. One of the Hawks took a whack at it, but I'm not sure he touched it. Let's see if we can see it on the replay.
Larmer perhaps did get a piece of it. The crazy thing about it is that the puck was underneath Melange. He knew all the time where it was, but it just happened to squirt free.
Well, the North Stars are going to change goalies as Donnie Beaupre is going to get his chance. One of those instances when 9 times out of 10, or maybe even more, the puck is frozen, play is called, but not that time.
And they're going to give the goal to Larmer.
As you heard, Larmer from Savard. 9:08, and the North Stars make their goalie change at 9:08 of the second period.
Larmer with a 2-point night, Savard with a 3-point night. So the goaltending change comes at 9:08 of the period as Beaupre comes in. That's 3 straight games now. The North Stars have made a goaltending switch.
I say it again, Frank, there's really nothing you can attribute that goal to, at least in my view, except just some pretty rotten luck. Bear in mind that this is a very difficult time for any goaltender, because unlike the old days, you can't warm him up. He has to come in cold. See, the fans here in Chicago think the series is over as their team leads 4-0.
And we have yet to reach the halfway point of the second period. Now Hartsburg over to Harold Snepps. Berglund tipping it ahead. Here's Acton shooting it to Bellows for his shot. That deflects right up out of play. And the faceoff will be coming up.
Now Gilles Melange left after facing 6 shots in that second period. And Beaupre comes on.
6 shots in the period, 2 goals. 19 shots for the game, 4 goals. There's a look at Beaupre, who has started in 6 of the 18 playoff games against Chicago. His playoff record against the Blackhawks is 2-3. Playoff record here at the stadium, 1-2. Acton and Lysiak. And the draw trickles back to center ice. Roberts now to Acton again. Leaving it for Bellows. A shot. That deflects off the glass. Here's Berglund. He's bumped by Lysiak, who cleared it, but it hit Yaremchuk. Berglund has it again. Looks for some open space, but Yaremchuk took it away. Berglund took it right back. Now Hartsburg. Over to Berglund on his off wing. Back to Hartsburg again. A quick shot. Knocked down in front. And it's batted away by Ben Wilson. Lysiak then backhands it to center. And it was nearly a 2-on-1 Chicago break. Berglund shooting it back in. The North Stars change on the go. And we're exactly halfway through period 2 with Chicago leading 4-0. Ken Yaremchuk hits the Minnesota line. Turned aside by Snepps. Avoids the check by Plett. Now Fraser has it in the corner. Taken away by Ron Wilson. Fires it to Tony McKegney. And McKegney will flip it in. Plett and Doug Wilson go after it. The loose puck to O'Callahan. He's hit by Marouk. It comes free to Ron Wilson. He got around Olczyk. On his backhand, he centered McKegney. A shot and a goal.
Fine play by Wilson, and Tony McKegney wraps it home. And if ever a team needed a goal, the North Stars did just then. Number 6 of the playoffs for McKegney at 10:28.
Well, that does not quiet the fans here. They come to life again. Still a 3-goal Chicago lead. A well-placed shot by McKegney as Bannerman was going down.
Not the best angle here, as you see. And amazingly, I think that thing went under him.
Now here's Ron Wilson carrying it in to drop to Willie Plett. He left it at the blue line, but it got away from Marouk, and Gordy Roberts hustles back to pick it up. Roberts, watched by Frazier, fired it over to McKegney, a dangerous pass. Then it was poked away, flipped in for Troy Murray. Murray goes to the centering pass. It came right through as Olczyk was covered. O'Callahan's shot hit McKegney, and Plett's pass too far for Marouk. Now O'Callahan flipped it to Olczyk, broken up by McKegney. A delayed offside here as Troy Murray then plays it out. Willie Plett intercepts, leaving it for Ron Wilson. North Stars with their first goal. They trail 4-1. Roberts carries it in, fired it for Ciccarelli. He was covered by Savard, and Secord has the puck. Secord playing it around, Olczyk playing it out. Savard goes after it. Savard bumped by Giles, left it for Secord, who overskates it. Now Broughton carried it back in, then lost it. And Doug Wilson got it to Savard once more, 2-on-2. Savard has trouble controlling it. Valashek gets a stick on it. He's bumped by Secord. Savard alone behind the net. Savard centering it, broken up by Giles, and it slides deep into the Chicago zone. Now Bob Murray, watched by both Graham and Ciccarelli, played it ahead to Larmer. Larmer at center, back for Secord, a little too far. Ciccarelli knocked it away. 8 minutes left in period 2. Bob Murray, now to Larmer. Larmer carrying it in the slot, tried to get around Valashek. It wouldn't work, but no one knows where the puck is except Larmer. Then it's taken away by Broughton. 3-on-4 as they hit the line. Ciccarelli shoots a nice stick save by Bannerman on that quick release by Ciccarelli. A drop pass to Larmer. Carrying it in. Watched by Ron Wilson. Couldn't get around, but here's Sutter. A shot fired wide. Sutter centers. Lysiak, a shot never reached the net. Dirk Graham goes after it, but it's cleared and not out. Brown played it behind the net. It got away from Sutter. Brian Bellows has it. Bellows shooting it all the way out. And finally grabbed by Brown. North Stars make a change, and this is the third or fourth time the Acton line has been on, and Bo Berglund has been playing left wing in place of Payne on each of those last 3 or 4 occasions in the period. Here's Sutter getting it ahead to Lysiak. Lysiak crosses center. He's met by Berglund, and then Ben Wilson shoots it in. Gordy Roberts and Sutter. Bo Berglund got his stick on it, but not enough, and the Hawks regroup at center.
Well, this thing has opened up quite a bit since that goal, hasn't it?
Sure has. Here's Yaremchuk. Now to Troy Murray for a shot. Blocked by Beaupre. That may have been the first actual shot on goal that he's faced. Roberts challenged by Troy Murray in the corner. Now Frazier goes after it. Acton gets there first, played it away from Olczyk. Got it to Bellows. He's bumped. Got it to center ice. Doug Wilson knocks it back in. Frazier ran into Roberts, left it for Olczyk, cutting in a shot. Blocked the rebound. Stopped by Beaupre, then cleared by Ron Wilson. Kept in by Doug Wilson. And Berglund ices it to relieve the pressure. Willie Plett races after the puck with O'Callahan, but they'll bring it back in the Minnesota end for the faceoff. 6 minutes left in the second period. Chicago 4, Minnesota 1.
Flyers have defeated the Islanders 1-0, so they move on to face the winner of Quebec and Montreal.
Marouk and Troy Murray, and Marouk wins the faceoff. Hartsburg. Pass got behind McKegney. O'Callahan flipped it back in. They say it's onside. Giles has it. 6 minutes left in period 2. Giles flipping it in. North Stars trail by 3 as Olczyk was tied up by the high stick of Plett. No penalty. Giles keeps it in at the point. Walking in for a blast. It sails wide by about a foot. There'll be a penalty coming up here. I think perhaps on Chicago. Well, we'll let Bob Myers call the penalty. We'll be back with it in a moment. With the score, Chicago 4. The North Stars 1 will return after this.
In the time of the penalty, and Willie Plett has gone for high sticking.
Well, I thought it was a Chicago penalty because the whistle seemed to blow when O'Callahan touched the puck.
Final score.
See Willie in behind the goaltender. Oh, must have occurred just then.
Here's Bob Murray as the Blackhawks go to the power play for the third time tonight. 0 for 2 thus far, but they lead in the game 4-1. And they're content to take their time here.
Obviously a critical penalty kill for the North Stars here.
Now Now Savard ahead to Secord. It goes into the corner. Richter was tied up by Secord. Here's Bob Murray waiting for it. Shooting it around. Richter still tied up. Doug Wilson at the point keeps it in. Then nearly lost it. He did lose it. Broughton couldn't clear. Savard dumps it in. Here's Sneps. Now Secord. And Dave Richter looks for the clearing attempt, but puts the puck out of play.
He fired it over the top of the Chicago bench and had the fans diving for cover. 1:15 remaining in the penalty to Plett, and that will result in a face-off in the North Star zone. Channel 29 has spectacular movies coming up in May. The free TV premiere of Francis, starring Jessica Lange, a Star Trek spectacular. Great Escape, Meatballs, starring Bill Murray, and many more. So be sure to check Channel 29's TV listings. Francis is a good movie.
Yes, it is.
It's a good movie. They're all good, but that's really good.
Savard and Acton to face off. 1:15 left on the penalty to Plett. 5 minutes left in period number 2. And now they are in the circle a little prematurely. So we'll line up once more. Bellows and Acton confer before Acton goes into the face-off. Keep an eye on his left foot there. He hedges ever so slightly. Perhaps a great deal. I'm not sure which. Now Savard. Blackhawks with a 5-skater on 4 advantage. Savard waiting, constantly moving that puck. Back to Doug Wilson. Pass got behind Bob Murray. Here's Larmer. He's checked by Roberts. Poked at by Velishek. It comes loose to Acton. Short-handed rush. Possible 3-on-2. Acton hits the line. Stops. Got it to Bellows. Bellows avoids Velishek, then rags the puck. Takes it back into his own end. Has to pass it away from Savard, and he gets it all the way down. 40 seconds left on the Plett penalty as Chicago changes its forward unit. And Murray drives it in. Troy Murray now picks it up. 30 seconds left on Plett's penalty. Here's Savard. Doug Wilson. Shot hit traffic, and a shot by center went wide. Velishek playing it neatly over to Acton, who carries it up ice. Short-handed with Bellows. They hit the line. Bellows shoots. A goal!
Whoa! Short-handed goal. That changes the complexion a little bit, doesn't it? Time of the short-handed goal is 16:01.
Well, Brian Bellows finally gets his second goal of the playoffs. Both of them against Chicago, and it makes this a 2-goal game, short-handed.
Fairly harmless-looking play as Acton just drops it to Bellows, but he caught Bannerman leaning the other way and beat him to his stick side.
Sounded like it hit the pipe and then went in.
Acton will get an assist, and I should think Velishek as well, since he started it way back in his own zone.
Randy Velishek is playing extremely well again tonight.
We're going to give him an assist anyway, unless we hear differently.
All right. 10 seconds left on Plett's penalty. Here's Brown flipping it in. Now Richter driving it around, kept in by Ben Wilson. Here's a shot, a save. Huge rebound, and it was knocked away as Troy Murray went after it. He centers it in front, and McKegney sweeps it away. The penalty to Plett is over. Here's Willie at center ice. McKegney dumped behind the play, but apparently we have an offside pass. Live from the Chicago Stadium, it's the North Stars and the Blackhawks on KITN TV, Channel 29.
Minnesota goal again quickly, short-handed by Brian Bellows, second of the playoffs at 16:01. Acton and Velishek with the assists.
Beaupre leaves it for Craig Hartsburg. Sidesteps Troy Murray. Nice pass to McKegney. At the Chicago line, McKegney tries to spread the defensive part. He shoots, and a glove save by Bannerman.
Well, that should certainly give the North Stars a charge, Frank. Certainly change the complexion of this game. As the Blackhawks, looking pretty comfortable at 4-0, all of a sudden find themselves 4-2. And for the first time, particularly on the shot by Bellows, Murray Bannerman looking like a human being.
I tell you, that is a very important factor. Now the confidence may start to build that he can be beaten. 3:16 left in period 2. By all means, don't go away. Maruk and Troy Murray ready to face it off. And now apparently they're both waved out. McKegney will go against Ed Olchuk. Now they want Troy Murray outside the circle before they drop the puck. He's got one line on the, or one leg on the line and the other one in. Whacked that by Maruk. He knocks it free in the slot, but it's grabbed by Fraser. Ahead for Troy Murray. Too far for him. Hartsburg shooting it back to Maruk, who just got out of the zone. Now Maruk's pass went off his skate. It's grabbed by O'Callahan, and he plays it into the Minnesota end. Maruk after it. Olchuk chases him. Maruk nearly gave it away, but Richter recovered well to knock the loose puck away. Here's Fraser. Now Olchuk, but he can't handle it. And Hartsburg will go after it with O'Callahan. O'Callahan plays it behind to Olchuk, and his centering pass hit a skate. Now grabbed by Willie Plett. Plett and McKegney 2-on-4. They flip it in. Plett tied up by O'Callahan. Ran into Wilson with a little bit of an elbow, and play goes on. Now Troy Murray to center. 3-on-3. Dumping it in. Beaupre lets it go through as the Hawks change on the go. Acton is checked by Fraser. Here's Ron Wilson. Now out to Gordy Roberts. Back to Keith Acton. He hits the line. Left it for Berglund, and he didn't get all of it on the shot. They may have been trying to set up Bellows. Here's Berglund trying to knock it down, but Sutter takes it away. Ron Sutter, or rather Daryl Sutter, had it broken up by Ron Wilson, and the play is eventually called offside.
Well, Bellows and Brown were all tied up in the Chicago zone. They've been talking to each other since the first game here, so. Looks like Ben Wilson talking to the Minnesota bench. Now we'll resume with a face-off in the neutral zone. The ever-dangerous Daryl Sutter. Sunday nights are great on Channel 29, starting at 9 p.m. with Perry Mason, followed by John Biner's Bazaar at 10. And at 10:30, Channel 29's all-new Showcase 29 movie. Perry Mason, Bazaar, and Showcase 29. Sunday nights beginning at 9 p.m. on Channel 29.
Ben Wilson couldn't get around Ron Wilson. Here's a 3-on-1. Here's a centering pass broken up by Brown. Our Stars had a 3-on-1 play. There's going to be a penalty coming up for elbowing. And again, since it was called when Chicago had possession at this point, I'll assume it's on the Blackhawks.
Well, the North Stars back within 4-2, get on the power play, as elbowing is the call against Ben Wilson at 18:05.
Well, Roger, when you get a chance or two, if you can scan over at the North Star bench and see if you can see Steve Payne. I haven't been able to spot him yet. We've mentioned a couple of times he has not taken his regular shift here in the second period. I'm just assuming your eyesight is a little better than mine.
I don't see him.
I'll assume anybody's eyesight is better than mine.
I don't see him anywhere either.
So perhaps his absence is the result of an injury.
We don't know, haven't heard anything. North Star power play coming up.
Here's Hartsburg shooting, and it's kicked out by Bannerman, and it goes right out of play. This is the North Stars' fourth power play. 0 for 3, but they have a very big shorthanded goal. That by Brian Bellows. 16:01 of the second period.
Well, we'll knock on wood here a little bit, Frank, but as we said earlier, even when the North Stars have failed to score in the power play, they have always looked like a threat. They've had some good opportunities, thrown the puck around well. Maybe this will be the time. Bob Pulford, a few minutes ago, probably looked fairly comfortable, although I don't know if he ever does. Certainly feels less so now.
Not to mention that a goal on this power play would come obviously late in the period, and that should prove to be a bit of a psychological boost. Here's Bill Gardner shooting it all the way down. The Blackhawks have Patterson on along with Gardner as penalty killers. Bob Murray, Doug Wilson back on defense. Now Dirk Graham shooting it in. Comes all the way around on the boards. It's kept in by Hartsburg. He trying to circle away from Patterson. Patterson got his stick on the puck. Graham knocked it free. Broughton kept it in. Ron Wilson walking in, and the shot was deflected by Doug Wilson. Now Patterson goes after it. Hartsburg keeps it in, wraps it ahead, but Bob Murray intercepts and shoots it out.
Ron Wilson with a good-looking chance, but the puck was up on in and wouldn't lay down for him, and I think that accounted for the errant shot more than anything.
I hear the 1-minute announcement. 1:04 left in the power play. So that essentially means the North Stars, if they are to score in the power play, they'll have to do it here in this period. Now Hartsburg Pass is onside at center ice to Marouk, who left it to McKegney. Back to Marouk, and now to Ron Wilson. Challenged by Ludzik. Center to Marouk. A shot. Oh, a save by Bannerman. It perhaps went off the goalpost, I think.
I think it hit the goalpost.
He had the upper part of his stick right near the post, and that one rattled right off the pipe. Marouk has had about 5 outstanding chances. He has another. Right in on goal. And Bannerman got the stick out to make the save. And the Hawks clear.
Well, Bannerman played it real well. He forced Marouk in deep and didn't give him anything to shoot at.
Now Hartsburg. Pass nearly broken up, or was broken up by Gardner. Hartsburg got it right back, however. 8 seconds in the period. Here's Bellows at center. Time for one last long shot. Instead, they have to push it in. And play is called. Patterson and McKegney had their sticks up a bit. I think we have an offside at the Chicago line. Holy smokes.
Well, again, a great-looking opportunity there for Dennis Marouk.
On one of the North Stars' power plays in the first period, or rather, actually, I think it was a early power play opportunity. Marouk was outstanding.
There you see the last chance for Marouk, and again, Bannerman played that very well. He forced him deep, gave him very little to shoot at, and got the stick down.
That, I don't think, was the key shot, however.
No, one prior to that was certainly the key. It looked to us like it might have gone off the goalpost.
Well, 2 seconds here, and we'll give you the shot totals, which, again, bode quite well for the North Stars. 2 seconds left. Pretty much meaningless face-off at center. Acton and Patterson. And Gerard Gauthier gets ready to drop the puck. Finally does. And the siren goes here to end period number 2. A period which saw the North Stars come close. 4-2 is the score now. In the period, they've each scored 2 goals.
Well, if nothing else, Frank, it really means the game is now again on. Those 2 goals, very, very big for the North Stars in the second period. Shots on goal, 15. A 2-period total of 27. For Chicago, 9, and a 2-period total of 22.
So that's it. We have completed 40 minutes of play, and what should be a thrilling third period coming up right now. We'll take a break for our second intermission at the end of 2. It's Chicago 4, the North Stars 2.
Was a piece in that second period as the North Stars stayed even with the Blackhawks in that regard, at least. The shots on goal fairly heavily in favor of Minnesota as they outshot Chicago by a margin of 15-9. 4-0 was the score before the North Stars really had something good happen at a time in the game when it looked as though Murray Bannerman might indeed be invincible. But they got a good goal from Tony McKegney off a pass from Ron Wilson at 10:28 to cut the margin to 4-1. Tony's 6th of the playoff series. And then the goal that finally should give the North Stars some heart. With Chicago on a power play, they finally get a goal from a specialty team, and they're certainly the kind you'd like to get because it came short-handed. Randy Velishek kicks it out of the zone, and Keith Acton comes roaring in, leaves a fairly harmless-looking drop pass for Brian Bellows, who shoots immediately. And as you see, caught Bannerman leaning the wrong way, it appeared, and beat him at 16:01, where Brian Bellows, his second goal of the playoffs. Short-handed goal. The assists went to Keith Acton and Randy Velishek, brought the Chicago margin down to 4-2. Gave indication that perhaps, and we hope that Bannerman may be tiring just a little bit, and more importantly, really got the North Stars very much back into this hockey game. 4-2, they still have a long uphill climb, but certainly that Chicago lead is now much more manageable than it once was. Let's go to Frank.
All right, Roger, thanks very much. The Blackhawks skating onto the ice, and again, they draw quite a roar here from the capacity crowd at the Chicago Stadium. I think part of the key out of the hockey game thus far is the fact that the North Stars were down at one point 3-0, then 4-0, and it certainly looked like they could be totally demoralized, but they have not given up. They have played extremely well. Well, again, we'll look for a North Star rally. They're down by 2 goals right now again, and if Game 6 is necessary, that would be coming up Tuesday night at the Met Center. The face-off at 7:30. Tickets are available. You can charge them by phone at 853-9300. MasterCard, Visa, and American Express will be accepted on those phone charges, or you can still pick them up at the Met Center ticket office and also at Dayton's. North Stars with 15 shots in the period had 3 shots each from Hartsburg, Richter, and Marouk, 2 each from Cicerelli and McKegney, and of course the One of the larger shots of that period was the one by Marouk that actually went off the goalpost or the crossbar just seconds before the period ended. Don Beaupre came in after the 4th Chicago goal at 9:08 of the second period. And Beaupre, of course, will be in nets again.
Beaupre looked at 3 Chicago shots after he came in, so pretty good defensive stand there by the North Stars as they allow just 3 shots over the last half of the period, or basically the last half of the period. Coming up after the game tonight at 10:30, Peter Sellers and Peter O'Toole star in What's New, Pussycat? A very funny comedy tonight at 10:30 on Channel 29's new Showcase 29 movie. Every Sunday night at 10:30 on Channel 29.
5 seconds remain on the minor penalty to Ben Wilson, so the North Stars will hope to use that 5 seconds at least to get down deep in the Chicago zone, but Troy Murray breaks up that thought right after the faceoff. Ben Wilson is back on. 5 skaters aside, the final 20 minutes of regulation play. Here's Marouk cutting in to his backhand. Left it for Hartsburg, poked at by Doug Wilson. Wilson is taken down. There'll be a penalty. Here's Troy Murray and a backhand and a save by Beaupre. A big stop. Now Beaupre wants to get control of that puck, so the penalty is called. And early in the period, it'll be a Chicago power play.
Time is 26 seconds. Hartsburg will go. One of those you must classify as a good penalty because you can see Doug Wilson is off and running if he doesn't make that play.
Well, unfortunate that he got trapped in that position because there was a nice drop pass from Marouk in the slot back to the point, and Hartsburg just was cutting in a little bit too closely and then really had to scramble to get back and then haul down Wilson.
Well, one of those so near but yet so far instances where Hartsburg that close to getting maybe a good shot on goal instead winds up taking a penalty. So again, a very critical penalty kill by the North Stars. As it goes without saying, the next goal is a very important one depending upon who scores it.
Graham shooting it down. The Blackhawks 0 for 3 on the power play, and the North Star penalty killers have done an extremely good job again tonight. Blackhawks for the series, just 3 power play goals in 24 chances right up to date. Richter bangs it right out of the zone. Wilson playing it across. Bob Murray has it. 5 skater to 4. The Chicago skating advantage. Snep's got his stick on it, but not enough as Savard flips it in. Then he's checked against the boards by Richter. Snep's trying to get it past Larmer. It didn't work. Larmer to Bob Murray. Back into the corner. It got away from Secord, but Savard waits for it. Dennis Savard, watched by Broughton. Stops. He's checked by Richter. Lost the puck. Got it right back. Savard behind the net is dangerous. Walks in front, centering pass, and a pad save by Beaupre on Larmer from 5 feet away.
Well, a big stop there. Very reminiscent of what happened to the North Stars. It seemed almost all of Thursday night.
Now a minute left on the penalty to Hartsburg. Here's Bob Murray. Now to Lysiak, flipping it in. Out of the corner it comes where Troy Murray was checked. Roberts has it. Played it up off the back of the net. Errol Sutter tries to dig it out. He's jammed up against the boards. It was kicked free. Brown keeps it in. Doug Wilson has it. Shot deflected. A save. The rebound is loose. And it's underneath Roberts in the goal crease. Boy, that deflection was mighty dangerous, and Beaupre just followed the puck all the way.
Well, Randy Velishek doing a good job against Troy Murray as he had the death grip on Murray's stick. Wasn't going to give him a chance there. Lots of activity right in front. Roberts took a swing at it, knocked it down. Helped out his goaltender. 31 seconds in the minor penalty to Hartsburg.
Bellows and Acton are up front. Velishek and Roberts back on defense.
Attendance at the stadium, 17,488. 17,488.
And now they're in the circle too soon. Gerard Gauthier, the linesman, to draw one cleanly by Lysiak. Brown back to Lysiak. Blackhawks with another 25 seconds of power play. Ben Wilson winds up, centers it, broken up by Bellows. Now Troy Murray. Waiting. Both Valashek and Bellows are on this side. Here's Sutter. Backhands one right through. Brown. Lysiak. Now Roberts went down. He'll have to scramble to get back up, and he does. Then lost his stick. Here's Lysiak centering it. It got away from Troy Murray. The penalty to Hartsburg is over. Here's a centering pass. Lysiak tips it wide. Roberts still playing without a stick. Lysiak checked by Acton. Acton got the puck. He was tripped up. No penalty, but he got it to Valashek anyway. Valashek, long shot went wide. Roberts finally just now getting his stick as the Blackhawks had kicked it all the way across the rink. 17 minutes left in regulation. The Blackhawks are ahead 4-2. Penalty boxes are empty. Here's Ludzik to Gardner. Knocked it down, centered it. Patterson a backhand and a great save by Beaupre. And now McKegney ahead to Giles. With Willie Plett, Giles shoots, and it was deflected by O'Callahan. What a huge save by Donnie Beaupre. Now Plett lost it. Patterson has it. Headmans it to Ludzik, but it hopped over his stick. Chicago changing on the go. Now Ron Wilson to Willie Plett. Flipping it in. And out of the corner it comes to Larmer. Larmer chased from behind the net. Passed at center. Broken up by Giles. It's played ahead again by Secourt. As Cicerelli and Savard collide, Dino went down. Got back up to get the puck. Then plays it ahead to Marouk. Marouk checked, lost it. Secourt has it. North Stars in the middle of a chain. Here's Secourt. He's bumped, but got it to Larmer. The shot. Another big save by Beaupre. Grabbed finally by Steve Payne, seeing his first shift in 2 periods. Then Cicerelli's pass went off his skate. He went back to get it. Now Giles flipping it into the corner. Bounces in front, and DuPont took it away from Payne, who throws a hard check into DuPont. Now Bob Murray at center, driving it in. We played 4.5 minutes of period 3 in a 4-2 game. Now Ron Wilson ran into Sutter. Here come the Hawks, near 3-on-1. Back to Lysiak, now to Sutter. Walking right in. The shot was deflected and loose in front, and finally covered by Beaupre. Furious action around the Minnesota net. The Blackhawks lead 4-2. We'll be back in a moment.
Beaupre will find a lot of friends in the crease at the end of this segment. Sutter brings it into the zone. Roberts goes down. Sutter fakes around him. Doesn't have any place to go, and now watch the scramble. Cicerelli with a pretty good whack to knock the stick out of Sutter's head. There's Tom Lysiak, who has had a very, very good series against the North Stars.
From their face-off, Gordie Roberts knocks the puck free over to Craig Hartsburg.
Quite a bit of life on the North Star bench right now, Frank. They're jumping around.
Now Steve Payne is working with Broughton and Cicerelli, and Payne and Bob Murray collide. Now Cicerelli is checked. Here's Hartsburg. A shot deflected, and it goes out of play.
Now Payne deflected it. Bob Murray trying to point that out to the referee, but I don't think he's going to sell it. Looked to me like Payne did anyway. North Stars are going to change. Channel 29 has the happiest late newscast in the Twin Cities. Weeknights at 10, watch the Mary Tyler Moore Show with Ted, Lou Grant, and the Newsroom Gang. Mary Tyler Moore, weeknights at 10 on Channel 29.
There's a look at Murray Bannerman, who came into the game tonight with a 3.36 goals against average. He has played in all but 13 minutes of the playoffs for Chicago. Those 13 minutes played by Warren Skorodensky against Detroit. Acton and Lysiak. Ward Brossiker directing some traffic. Wants Acton's stick down. And the face-off finally. Ben Wilson playing it around for Yaremchuk. It's deflected by Velishek, but it got past him. Now Lysiak, he's chopped at by Acton. Lysiak tries to center it. It deflects, and it comes back to center ice. Ben Wilson shoots it in, a delayed offside. Now Giles checked there by Sutter. Sutter kicks the puck free. Then Giles played it ahead. The Hawks in turn shoot it back. Yaremchuk spinning away from Berglund. He's brought down, no penalty. Now Acton leads the North Star rush, and they call it offside. Bellows a fraction ahead of the play. Very close. 14.5 minutes left in regulation with the Blackhawks leading 4-2.
Reminds me of Murray Bannerman. Keep it knocking, but you can't come in. That's where he's been for about 3 games now. All right, here we go.
Not quite as comical, however. All right. Ron Wilson from center ice shooting it in. The penalty boxes are empty, and it'll take a major penalty here, I would think. Here's Ron Wilson with a chance. Deflected nearly by Plett, but he just missed it. Now Olchuk playing it ahead. Troy Murray had trouble with it. It comes back to Ron Wilson, who shot it in, and it's an offside. The fans want it to be intentional, but no such call.
Well, I don't think there's any question it was, but who's going to call it? That's the point.
Not I.
Not I. Not I, said he. 14-19 remaining in the game. 4-2, the North Stars looking for that third goal, and hopefully, from their point of view, would get it soon.
Marouk, Plett, and McKegney, and Willie Plett took a stick up high, and that draws quite a roar from the fans here. And Glenn Sonmore is really irate. Plett and Fraser were paired off for the face-off.
Willie, you could tell very quickly he was hit because he just dropped his stick. Oh, look how close to the eye. Oh, my. Doesn't look like it's in the eye, but oh, so close. You could tell he'd been hurt because he went right down. North Star saying that's 5, isn't it? But I don't think they're going to get the call.
Boy, if that's not 5, I don't know what is. Accident or not.
Well, based on the history of Fraser and Plett, I'm sure that the North Stars believe it was no accident.
Bob Myers has not even made a move to the scorer's table. There may not be a penalty out of this at all.
I don't think there's going to be. Glenn Sonmore, of course, pretty sensitive to eye injuries since he lost an eye playing hockey.
While they tend to Willie Plett, we'll take a break. 14 minutes left in the third period. It's Chicago 4, the North Stars 2.
Well, the North Stars, as you might imagine, very irate, saying there has to be a call of some kind there. But nothing coming from referee Bob Myers. So play will go on. Doc Rose and Willie Plett headed for the dressing room. Take a look at that. Looks like it nicked right under the eye.
Did you see the contact? It happened right after they dropped the puck for the faceoff.
It happened right off the faceoff, and it happened bang, bang.
Now here's Roberts, Ron Wilson. 5 skaters aside. Marouk shooting, and a glove save by Bannerman, but it was offside.
And Bannerman again appeared to be leaning a bit. Wouldn't have counted, of course, as play had been whistled dead offside, but the shot was on its way.
Tony
before the
McKegney,
whistle blew.
McKegney doesn't believe it was offside as he talks with Gord Brossiger. There's Dennis Marouk getting ready for the faceoff.
Gord Sherman out replacing Willie Plett on this line.
Well, North Stars lose a big man. Because if bumping and grinding was going to spring the puck free in the Chicago end, a large part of that bump and grind was going to come from Willie Plett. We'll see if he returns to the ice after getting patched up. Just past the 6-minute mark of the third period with Chicago leading 4-2. McKegney ties up with Troy Murray. Now it's grabbed by Shervin again. Forced back by Fraser, doing some forechecking. It was Fraser and Plett who got tangled up after that faceoff, which led to Plett's injury. Here's Fraser going after a loose puck. Drops it in the slot, but no one is there. McKegney, bothered by Olchuk, played it behind the net. Roberts had been dumped by Fraser, no penalty. Now McKegney's pass deflected. He got it right back, then got it to Marouk. They hit the line, 3-men across. Marouk cutting in, going right in on goal! And it deflected high. Marouk centering it, and it's batted away, and it got past Hartsburg at the point.
Well, I tell you what, I think Dennis Marouk came very close to batting that out of the air.
Within inches, and I think it would have been below shoulder level. They're onside. Marouk looking for Cicerelli. Then he centered it. It was deflected. Hartsburg shooting. A blast went high over the net. Secord got it to center ice where Larver is checked by Broughton, and Giles came back for the puck. It's shot into the zone, delayed offside. Then it got away from Payne. Bob Murray plays it off the glass. Giles for the North Stars got it to Ciccarelli, onside to Broughton. He is spun around by Secord. A backhand by Payne was broken up by Bob Murray. Chicago has it with 12.5 minutes left in the third period. Larmer driving it in, and the Blackhawks change. Here's Payne. Now to Broughton. Check by Larmer. Giles back to Broughton. Centering it too far for Hartsburg. Yaremchuk intercepts. And it's deflected by Ciccarelli. He'll go back for it at center ice. Giles. Hartsburg. Now to Bellows at center. And he flips it in. Bellows, Acton, and Berglund up front. North Stars changing defensemen, so a key check by Acton prevented Secord from clearing the zone, but Ben Wilson carries it in. There's going to be a penalty on Secord.
Oh, he definitely did North Stars a favor there, as Acton really ran him over, and Secord got up and gave him a little cross-check.
A big power play coming up, and we'll be back with it in a moment. The Blackhawks 4, the North Stars 2.
Goes for roughing 8:08, giving the North Stars a very valuable power play opportunity. There's the man who caused it all.
Again, the North Stars have had good chances on their previous 4 power plays. One would think that it would be just a matter of time before they were able to score. Here's
you see, little Keith Acton really stampeded Secord, and here's the penalty coming up. Just out of view there.
Power play has Acton, Bellows, and Graham up front. Hartsburg and Ron Wilson back on defense. Third period, the Blackhawks ahead by 2. Now here's Bellows spun around that center ice, or actually Acton spun around. He got up looking for another penalty, but Bob Myers has to look over his shoulder to glare at Glenn Sonmore for whatever Sonmore had to say as Myers skited by. Hartsburg, checked by Gardner. Ron Wilson flipping it into Graham, broken up by Doug Wilson. Ron Wilson played it in deeper, but it hit a little bit of a traffic jam there, and then Bill Gardner shoots it all the way down. Patterson goes into forecheck. Bellows has to play it behind the net to Hartsburg once more. Ludzik closing in on him, but Hartsburg comes away with the puck. 1:10 to go on the penalty to Secord. Our Stars need a goal badly as Acton flips it in. Bob Murray goes after it and drives it to the line. It hit Hartsburg's skate, but it's picked up by Ludzik. One man back is Ron Wilson. Ludzik shoots. He shot it wide, and not by very much. Ron Wilson playing it ahead. Then Dirk Graham got it from Broughton. The drop to Broughton. Cuts to the middle. Back for Graham. It's knocked away by Brown. Roberts' pass, or rather Hartsburg's pass, is handed away. Breaking in, here's Troy Murray. He's checked by Broughton from behind. I believe I said it was a Hartsburg pass. It was actually Gordy Roberts' pass. Now Graham is onside. Broughton is tied up again, this time by Brown, and Ben Wilson clears. 20 seconds left on the Secord penalty. Both teams make quick changes. Halfway point of the third period. Now Giles at the Chicago line. Spreads the defense apart. 10 seconds on the power play. Roberts keeps it in, then got it to Ciccarelli. Dino is checked by Ben Wilson. Roberts kept it in. Penalty to Secord is over. Here's Ciccarelli. Giles, a wrist shot, sails high to rebound to Ciccarelli. Hit the goal post. Loose puck in front for Graham, or for McKegney, and he couldn't tuck it in. Giles, a shot in the goal crease, but it won't go in. It hit the skate of Ciccarelli and went right in underneath Bannerman.
Well, Murray Bannerman really getting peppered here as the North Stars come on, has had his share of luck right here. There's Ciccarelli off the rebound, hit the goal post. McKegney couldn't stuff it in. Play comes back to the point, and Giles lets her rip, hits Ciccarelli in the skate, and winds up right smack under Bannerman. Unbelievable. Well, it's 4-2 and not over yet, but we must say at this point that the North Stars, trailing 4-0, certainly have not gone quietly.
No, absolutely not.
They have really put the pressure on. Really come on.
Not getting the break either.
No, that's right.
Now Fraser flips it to center ice, goes after the loose puck, then he's met hard by Shervin. Roberts behind the net, and he starts to come back. Tony McKegney waiting for the puck to catch up to him, and as he waited so long, it finally resulted in an offside when Maruk touched it.
Couldn't quite get there in time. Every weeknight at 7, the fun and laughs are at Archie Bunker's place, followed by the Bob Newhart Show at 7:30. Archie's place at 7, and the Bob Newhart Show at 7:30 weeknights on Channel 29. Shots in the third period thus far, 6-4 in favor of the Blackhawks. We didn't count chances.
No.
They'd be a lot more than 6-4, and they could go in the other way.
Here's Wilson.
Well, important, Frank, for Minnesota to get that third goal soon.
Now Shervin hits the line, lets it go to Maruk. Maruk a shot, and Bannerman got a piece of it to make a big save. O'Callahan chased by McKegney. North Stars working feverishly as it's centered by Wilson right through, and Olczyk is able to clear it. I tell you, the North Stars, particularly in this period, really have the Blackhawks backtracking here as Wilson brings it in, got it to McKegney. He is tied up by Ben Wilson as the North Stars make a line change. That's why there were so few bodies in the zone. McKegney with a near interception, but it hopped away from him. Now Hartsburg, 8:30 to go in regulation. Bellows tried to thread a pass over to Giles, but that hit Lysiak. Ben Wilson goes back for it. Giles and Hartsburg, the defensemen. Acton, Berglund, and Bellows up front. Giles misplays the puck, recovers to get it away from Lysiak, but Sutter comes in to knock it free. It's centered, taken away by Brian Bellows. Bellows throwing it in front of the net for Hartsburg. Hartsburg carries it to center. Now to Keith Acton. Onside. Berglund's shot hit Acton, and Bannerman tips it aside. Yaremchuk got it to Lysiak. Berglund keeps it in. A save by Bannerman, a loose puck, and Yaremchuk got it. And then Lysiak knocks it down and clears it out. Roberts. Giles. Hawks changing. Here's Giles flipping it in. It got through Bob Murray. Bannerman shooting it back around for Larmer. Larmer's pass to Secord off his stick. Coming down on the loose puck. He shoots right on, and Beaupre blocked it, then covers up. 7.5 minutes left in regulation. Chicago 4, the North Stars 2.
We'll take the draw against Dennis Savard. 4-2. North Stars looking for that third goal.
Well, it's been primarily a North Star game from the middle of the second period to this point. They have had some outstanding chances. Kane working on left wing with Broughton and Cicerelli as Bannerman stops it behind the net. Now DuPont shooting it around for Larmer. Roberts pinching in, keeps the play alive. Broughton has it. Has no one to center to yet. Finally got it to Cicerelli. Dino draws a crowd, walks right in, shot to go! Cicerelli brings the North Stars within one.
Yeah, that's the one they needed. Dino loves it, and the bench came up as one. 12:53 the time. Now the race is really on.
Well, persistence, I guess, finally does pay off. And the fans here at the stadium come to life as Cicerelli brings the North Stars to within one. Dino getting his third goal of the playoffs, all three against Chicago.
Well, didn't look like he had any place to put it, but he squeezed it in there. That's what counts.
A one-goal hockey game as McKegney shoots it in. Bannerman leaves it for Doug Wilson. Now Fraser has it. Fraser to center, flipping it into the corner. Hartsburg turns to go after it. He's checked by Troy Murray. Murray alone behind the net, centers it, and it comes right through. O'Callahan waits, then flipped it behind for Patterson, but Hartsburg steps in. Hartsburg trying to get the puck away from Patterson, does, shoots it around. O'Callahan keeps it in, playing it around to the other side where it's poked at by Graham, and he's able to get it out. Now Fraser shooting it back into the Minnesota end. Giles fires it out to Berglund, now to Dirk Graham. That pass fails to click. Loose puck to Yaremchuk, checked by Giles. Giles takes him down. 6:14 left in regulation. The North Stars trail by one. Lysiak centered it, deflected right past Beaupre, but across the goal mouth. Yaremchuk behind the net. He's taken down by Hartsburg. Sutter plays it back around. Lysiak is alone. North Stars having lots of trouble. Sutter's backhand went wide. Now Keith Acton calls it to center ice. Knocked down by Lysiak. Ben Wilson has the puck. It hit the linesman Brodiker. Finally brought in by Yaremchuk, but Sutter was about 6 feet offside.
Here's a scoring on the North Star goal. Dino Ciccarelli, third in the playoffs. Assist to Neil Broughton and Gordy Roberts. Next week on Channel 29's 8 o'clock movie, it's Big Bad John Week with some of John Wayne's best movies like North to Alaska on Wednesday, Red River on Thursday, The Undefeated on Friday, and The Longest Day on Saturday. Make sure you check Channel 29's TV listings every night. Acton and Lysiak on this face-off. Well, this got pretty exciting here, didn't it?
Absolutely. This is suddenly turning into a whale of a hockey game.
Now, unfortunately, the goal by Sutter at the end of the first period really looks big right now.
Boy, does it ever. Ron Wilson to Keith Acton. Now to Bellows, flipping it in, but then lost it. Sutter tried to clear, too far for Lysiak, and then Lysiak went back for it and shoots it into the zone, but apparently an offside had been called.
Oh, it has to be. Yaremchuk was about 6 feet offside.
I didn't know that he touched it. Okay, that's the call.
5:28 remaining in regulation. We can start seeing that now, right? Okay.
Blackhawks scored the first 4 goals of the game.
Glenn Sonmore not pleased about being behind, of course, but very pleased, I should think, of what he's seen his team do here.
Acton, McKegney, and Bellows now the forward unit for the North Stars. Sutter had to go off his glove into the zone. He has a man in front. It's Yaremchuk, but he was checked well by Ron Wilson. Now Roberts to Acton. Acton leads the rush. 3 men across. They hit the line. Acton trying to get around Wilson. He centered it. And it went off the skate or 2 into the corner. And finally, Lysiak is able to flip it out, and he actually puts it out of play.
Boy, talk about pinching in. The North Stars had 5 players inside the face-off circles.
While they battle for the puck, we'll take a break. This game is coming to you from the stadium in Chicago.
And then Savard on the face-off in the Chicago zone. 5:02 remaining.
Puck is loose. Karams to the corner. Payne to Giles. He kept it in nicely, then shoots it around. Bob Murray put Broughton down. No interference there. Hartsburg shooting, and it's deflected by Broughton wide. Broughton trying to get around Duck Wilson. He is tied up. The puck is still loose. Payne reaching for it now. Here's Broughton behind the net. Ciccarelli is tied up by Savard. Savard gets to the puck, fires it all the way down. But unfortunately for the North Stars, it comes in on Beaupre, so there's no icing. 4.5 minutes left in regulation time. Hartsburg in the corner. Challenged by Secord, got it to Payne. Pass broken up at center ice by Savard. Savard whacks at it. It goes high in the air and down in the corner. Hartsburg played it away from Larmer. It bounced over to Giles, back to Broughton. Broughton at center ice, checked by Fraser, hangs onto it, got it to Ciccarelli onside. They say it was close. Payne and Brown tie up. Puck squirts free. Larmer waiting for it. Now 4 minutes left in regulation. The North Stars need a goal to tie it. Here's Troy Murray flipping it in. Beaupre stops it behind the net and sweeps it around on the boards for Dirk Graham. Nice pass right onto the stick of Marouk. Onside shoots. It's deflected. It goes out of play.
Well, off the stick of the Hawks, so the face-off will be right there. Doc Rowe coming back on the ice. Willie Plett remains in the dressing room because of that cut. So we likely will not see Willie anymore here tonight.
Savard, Sutter, Secord, and Larmer scoring for Chicago. They led 4-0 by the midway point of period 2. Then McKegney and Bellows shorthanded, came back for the North Stars to bring them within 2 at the end of 2 periods. Ciccarelli scoring here in the third, and that makes it Chicago 4, the North Stars 3. Here's Ron Wilson coming in, played it back and inadvertently cleared the zone. Roberts, Ron Wilson once more, bothered by Patterson, got it quickly over to Roberts. Roberts to the red center line. Ron Wilson carries it in, centers it across. Graham, a rich shot, save, and the rebound goes into the corner. Graham centering. Ron Wilson had to go off his stick, but he recovers to keep it alive. Graham in front, center to McKegney. The rebound, a goal. We're tied at 4.
Oh, what an effort! Look at Tony McKegney. Is he happy? Tie hockey game. Holy smoke! The North Stars have stormed back from a 4-goal deficit to tie it with 3:17 remaining. And Ron Wilson made a great play to keep that puck in the zone in the first place.
Boy, it looked like that puck was going to slide away from him 2 or 3 times. And then finally McKegney in close. A 4-4 game, 3:17 left in the third period.
And again, Tony McKegney, second of the night, 7th of the playoffs.
Fans here at the stadium begin to roar. And from the face-off, the North Stars control. Here's Giles to Acton and back to Hartsburg. Over to Kurt Giles. Now to Brian Bellows, shooting it in. Berglund goes in after it. You can hear him chant, "Let's go Hawks." Here's Sutter. Fires it across onside to Yaremchuk. Hits the line. Waits. Cuts to the middle. Centers it. A rebound shot by Sutter right through. Boy, an awful lot like the overtime goal Sutter scored Thursday night. Now Sutter again. The Hawks bring it in 3-on-2. They center to Yaremchuk, and he's checked by Hartsburg, who's played a whale of a game. Now Bellows to Acton. Hits the line, lets it go, but it's deflected off the glass and then bounces to the side of the net. North Stars making a line change. They bring Broughton's line on, and a pass nearly intercepted. Now finally Broughton got a piece of it, but Sutter takes it away. Knocked free. Here's Ciccarelli. He's knocked down by DuPont. And finally Yaremchuk brings it in. He's got Savard in the middle, and Yaremchuk is flattened by Gordy Roberts. Here's Steve Payne. To Ciccarelli, it's onside. Dino in the slot is checked. Broughton shoots, broken up by Doug Wilson. Broughton gets it again, circles away, ran into traffic. Broughton walking in on goal, and finally bumped off the puck by Bob Murray. A great shift by Broughton, has it again. Broughton got it to Roberts, but the pass was behind him. Ciccarelli, Payne's all alone, but the pass was broken up by Wilson. It's centered in front and tipped wide by Broughton. Now Ciccarelli goes after it. Tried to get it to Roberts. Instead, Broughton has it. He's checked Ciccarelli, a shot, a save by Bannerman, and it's cleared by Secord. One man back, it's Roberts, trying to get it away from Savard. Cleared it to the line, but not out. Larmer, the shot, a save, a rebound, another save by Beaupre. Here's Savard, a backhand, broken up by Roberts. Savard and Secord, or rather, Roberts and Secord went after it. It's cleared, and Ciccarelli gets it out to relieve the pressure. 1:20 in regulation. The shot, a pad save by Beaupre, and the rebound got away from Larmer. The North Stars ice it. Sensational action. Here's Graham going after the puck with Brown. Hook him to the boards, but it'll be icing anyway. What a flurry, and listen to the crowd.
Last Minnesota goal at 16:43. Tony McKegney, 7th of the playoffs from Dirk Graham and Ron Wilson. 1:07 remaining. And Don Beaupre tested immediately with that booming slap shot from Doug Wilson. Got the skate out to block it. Dangerous face-off here, however, in the Minnesota zone. Troy Murray will take it against Dennis Marouk and Frank Albianas. I thought at this point they would send out Tom Lysia to take this face-off because he has really won a bunch of them.
Troy Murray against Marouk. Marouk controls for a moment, but it's poked free. Cleared by Marouk, but not out. 1 minute left in regulation as they pin it up against the boards. What a furious end to the third period. There's Tony McKegney. What an outstanding playoff year he is having. McKegney with 2 goals tonight. 5 in the series, 7 in the playoffs. Had a goal and an assist in Thursday night's losing effort. Now Lysiak is on for this face-off. You see the clock at the top of the screen. Acton, McKegney, Bellows up front. Hartsburg, Giles, the defenseman. And a false face-off will do it again.
Well, excited at all, or?
Willie Flett is standing behind, I think, the North Star goal. I can't quite tell exactly where he is.
Willie's he's in the runway coming up from the. He was right behind the Minnesota goal. in the runway coming up in dressing room. There he is.
Back to the blue line. Brown shot. Saved by Beaupre, and the rebound cleared away by Hartsburg. Now to Bellows. To Acton. Onside McKechnie. A shot sailed wide. Sutter picks it up. 40 seconds to go. Sutter shoots it in. Lysiak goes after it. Centered it. Acton takes it away. He's knocked down. Hartsburg plays it to center ice. Now Brian Bellows ran into Ben Wilson. And Troy Murray has it with a half minute to go in regulation. Troy Murray being chased by Acton. Pokes it into the zone. Loose puck. A big save by Beaupre. What a tremendous save.
Lysiak and Belay picking up the loose puck and just letting her fly. And Beaupre has to be quick again. Yep, Lysiak, that's a good shot. He didn't fool with it. He just let her rip. Beaupre had to be quick.
Boy, it was just an outstanding shot. 20 seconds left in regulation. A look at Don Beaupre. What a game he has had since coming in relief of Gilles Meloche. And now one of the teams has called timeout.
Well, this has been a remarkable game, to say the least. The Blackhawks get the first 4. The North Stars get the last 4.
I think the North Stars have called the timeout.
20 seconds remaining. And Don Beaupre, who I know just felt awful about what transpired at the Met the other evening, I'm sure is delighted with this opportunity to get back and redeem himself a bit.
Well, there's no doubt he came in a very tough situation after having not started a game since the 6th of April. It's quite a long layoff.
Well, the North Stars trying to take this series back to Minnesota for a 6th game on Tuesday night.
All right, the strategy is set here for the final 20 seconds. And the North Stars will have Broughton, Payne, and Bellows up front. Roberts and Giles on defense. Broughton and Savard for the faceoff as Bob Myers talks things over with linesman Gauthier. "20 seconds left. Here we go. Batted away by Roberts to get it out. 15 seconds. The clock runs down. Bob Murray has it. Now it's deflected. It comes loose. It's shot in by Broughton, but 7 seconds remain, and apparently they called it an offside. I thought the North Stars had cleared the zone, and that's why Broughton did not try to go in with a rush towards the net, because line mate was still trapped inside. 6 seconds left.
Well, the faceoff will be in the neutral zone.
Overtime looms for the second straight game. Savard and Broughton. Back to Roberts. Flipping it in. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and we have overtime here at the Chicago Stadium. Fans here begin to boo, but I think perhaps, Roger, these last 2 games, as close as they are, is a little more of what we expected in this series. Blackhawks, of course, still have a 3-1 edge in games. But I think all along, many people expected a 6 or 7 game series.
Well, the shots on goal in the third period for Chicago, 13. And that's a 3-period total of 35. For the North Stars, 9. And that's a 3-period total of 26. Excuse me, 36. Anyway, 4-4, and I guess that's what counts.
All right, we'll have an abbreviated 10-minute intermission here, and we'll be back with our intermission at the Chicago Stadium after this timeout. At the end of regulation, the North Stars 4, Chicago 4. We kept looking for 2 North Star goals in anticipation of Game 6. Now all we need is 1 more Minnesota goal. Game 6, if it is to be played, would be coming up Tuesday night at the Met Center, a 7:30 face-off. Tickets available at Dayton's ticket office along with the Met Center ticket office, or you can charge by calling 853-9300. MasterCard, Visa, and American Express accepted on those phone charges. Now the North Stars are about ready to make their appearance as you see them heading up the runway. They'll make a long climb up a steep flight of stairs. Mark Baraboo, one of the assistant trainers on the left, with a word of encouragement for each player as he skates by. Acton with the bandage over his right eye. Willie Plett, who was injured early in the period, did not see a shift, but is coming back out to be on the bench. There's McKegney. Big goal, and I'm not sure if we can point to a single biggest goal by the North Stars. You have to look at the shorthanded goal by Bellows.
Well, in my opinion, I'll give you an opinion as long as you asked.
All righty.
I think the goal by Brian Bellows, for a couple of reasons. A, it brought the North Stars back to 4-2 and really put them in the game. B, a shorthanded goal, which obviously gives Minnesota a charge and takes a little bit of the air out of Chicago, perhaps. But I think really a critical break from the standpoint of both teams. For the first time, it made Bannerman look a little bit vulnerable because it came from long range, got Bannerman leaning the wrong way, caught the stick, caught the far side high, and I think really for the first time in a couple of games looked as though Murray Bannerman perhaps could be had. So to me, at this moment, that's maybe the biggest goal of the hockey game.
Well, touch wood, these teams have met in overtime in the playoffs 3 previous occasions. A very memorable goal by Greg Fox in 1982 in Game 1 really lifted the Blackhawks to that upset victory in that opening round series. 1983, Rich Preston scored at 10:34 of overtime to give the Blackhawks an insurmountable 3-1 edge in games. And then, of course, the memorable marathon game Thursday at the Met Center, in which Darryl Sutter scored at 21:57 of overtime, which sent it here. North Stars trailing 3-1. But right now it's a 4-4 hockey game. You see 20 minutes up on the scoreboard clock for this first overtime period. The next goal wins it.
Well, this is the point at which we're supposed to say something trite like, gee, I hope it's a good goal. So having said that, let's get on with overtime.
All right.
I don't care. If Minnesota can win, I hope it's a lousy goal.
All right, also, just for the record, needless to say, a Chicago goal would end the series. A North Star goal would send it to Game 6. And from the draw, the Blackhawks control, and Sutter, who scored the overtime goal Thursday night, shoots it in. Now it's deflected by Berglund, picked up by Acton. He fires it to Bellows, bearing down on Ben Wilson. The drop to Hartsburg, 2-on-1. Berglund right in on goal, and he flipped it over top of the net. Now Sutter has it. He's bothered by Acton and shoots it around Harold Snep, who I don't think saw a shift in the third period, keeps it alive for a moment. Then Sutter shoots it all the way down, and they're going to wave off the icing. They said Hartsburg could have played it sooner. Hartsburg trying to get it out of the zone, and in turn he ices it, and they'll go back in the Minnesota end for a face-off. Oh, what a chance for Bo Berglund.
Now Bo Berglund went back to the bench, tapping his stick on the ice, saying, I can't believe I missed that. As he came in, got it on the backhand, a fine pass from Hartsburg. Made the move he wanted to make. Got it up high, but just a little bit too high.
Now, Bannerman's stick got in the way, and I'm wondering if that didn't have an effect, directly or indirectly.
Well, Bo looks disgusted. Coming up after the game again, the movie What's New Pussycat will be seen in its entirety, so hang on for that.
Just underway in the first overtime. The North Stars control from the faceoff, but Ron Wilson lost it to Troy Murray. Then it's intercepted by Roberts, who played it ahead to Graham. His pass deflected by Olchuk. O'Callahan and Marouk go after it. Callahan shooting it around. He was checked by McKegney, but not before he got it to Troy Murray. Troy Murray hits the Minnesota line, tries to go outside of Roberts, goes behind the net. Centering it for Doug Wilson. It came through to O'Callahan. He didn't get all of the shot, and is brought up ice by Marouk, who's hooked. He fires it ahead to Graham. Shallow angle. Graham checked by Doug Wilson. In front to Marouk. A shot and a goal.
Game 6 coming up Tuesday, and the North Stars are ecstatic as they come charging off the bench. Fine pass by Graham and a good goal by Dennis Marouk. 1:14 in overtime is the time.
What a comeback.
North Stars down 4-0. Storm back to win it 5-4. And if you think the people here didn't get their money's worth tonight, holy smoke. Dennis Marouk, number 3 of the playoffs, and certainly no bigger one for Pee Wee this year. Here's Graham. Nice pass. Here's Maruk. Lots of net to work with, and he makes no mistake.
Overtime goal by Dennis Maruk gives the North Stars a 5-4 win. 1:14 is the time in overtime. And I'll tell you, there have been two outstanding hockey games back-to-back. Tonight and last Thursday, this one ending in favor of the North Stars. We'll be back with a recap on tonight's game after this timeout. The final, the North Stars 5, Chicago 4. Along with Roger Buxton, Frank Mazzocco back at a very subdued Chicago stadium. There was only one shot on goal in the overtime period, that by Dennis Maruk after he got a nice pass from Dirk Graham. Turned out to be the game-winning goal in overtime. A lot of things that we thought about tonight's game might come true, did come true. The North Stars persevered, and the Blackhawks had to go back a little bit.
They did. We talked about the theory that the North Stars would be successful, or that would make them successful, and that is to keep Pepper and Bannerman, because the theory being nobody can be good that long, finally came true a little bit. And the North Stars, as we said, to their eternal credit, came storming back from a 4-goal deficit and they eventually won this hockey game, and a very, very thrilling one. Maybe not if you're from Chicago, but if you're from Minnesota, you got to love it.
Final shots were 37-35 in favor of the North Stars. As we said, just the one shot on goal in overtime. And I think we have to look at another key to this game, and that is the substitution of Don Beaupre for Gilles Malache after Chicago had made it 4-0.
Oh, no question. Gilly was struggling. I don't think there'd be any argument about that. Don Beaupre, after a miserable evening on Thursday, came back and played very, very well. And I have to think, Frank, right near the end of that third period, Doug Wilson coming in, stepped just inside the blue line, and of course him cranking up for his slap shot. Wilson, very awesome sight, and Beaupre kicking out the right leg just to get the skate on it, or got the skate on it, I should say. And a very critical save late in the game.
All right, just as a reminder, Game 6 coming up Tuesday night at the Met Center. We've already told you plenty of times about tickets. They are available, and we'd like nothing more, Roger and I, than to meet with you again on Thursday night. If Game 7 is necessary, Channel 29 will carry the action. 7:30 face-off Thursday here from the Chicago Stadium. The final score once again, the Minnesota North Stars 5, the Chicago Blackhawks 4 in overtime. For Roger Buxton, I'm Frank Mazzocco. Our studio coordinator, Leo Vogt. Tonight's game produced and directed by Tom Meade Jr. We'll remind you that any rebroadcast or reproduction of this game is illegal without the express written consent of the Minnesota North Stars, KITN TV, and the National Hockey League. From the Chicago Stadium, the final score in overtime, Minnesota 5, Chicago 4. Good night, everybody.
A KITN TV sports presentation. Minnesota North Stars hockey. Tonight's game was brought to you in part by Coors. The best of the Rockies is yours. Coors Light. So turn it loose tonight. Carex. Don't worry. Call the Carex man. Your 16 Twin Cities Northland Ford dealers. Republic Airlines. The airline that makes you feel like flying. Cooper Skates. The world plays hockey with Cooper. Cherokee Power Equipment, Brooklyn Park. And by Norwest Bank, banking and a whole lot more.